Hell yes, man, do I love that introduction. I love the music. I love everything about it. It's so awesome. And it's awesome mostly because of this, because I get to play with my friends and amazing players as the D&D with GOG crew continues, but not with D&D, playing instead Talisman Adventures, sponsored as always by Pegasus Spiele, the company behind Talisman Adventures. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Goglings, Gogorifics, Gog types, to episode 273 of Pen and Pixels. I am your host, Arvin Elleron. This is the show that we do here every Tuesday from 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern, focusing on story and narrative in games. And we do a lot of tabletop now on this channel because we do not only D&D with GOG Storm King's Thunder, but also Talisman Adventures. Before I go any further, I do want to remind everybody about ways to support us here on the channel. If you have not already followed GOG, please consider doing so. That is always very much appreciated. And if you haven't already done so, please as well consider subscribing to us here on GOG.com. As has just happened, as just occurred, although I can't see it. Yes, Memories in 8-Bit, who is subscribed with Prime for 55 months. Thank you so much, Memories in 8-Bit. You are an officer and a gentleman, sir, and a former player on D&D with us as well. Yes, you can do like Memories in 8-Bit just did, and you can subscribe to the channel and do all that awesome level of support and encouragement, which is always really awesome and which we super appreciate, and it's really great. And yeah, so we can always do that too. If you haven't done so already as well, please consider clicking through and checking out our individual channels as well, because we have all of our own subsystems and our own Patreons and all that kind of good stuff, which we always appreciate it if people are able to support us over there as well. With all of that said, I am going to transition over quickly and say hi to everybody. Welcome, Goglings, Gogorifics, and Gog peoples. Very excited today because not only do we have some news, I have some publishing news. That right up there, which you might be able to see, that picture of Icarus right there, is my graphic novel. And I just found out today that not only is Icarus a finalist in the Independent Book Publishers National Benjamin Franklin Award, which is in its 33rd year for Best Graphic Novel. That is going to be, we'll find out if I was a gold medalist or silver medalist in that next month. My publisher is Athos Arts for that. But I also just found out from Athos Arts today that the Midwest Independent Association, Icarus is also a finalist there. So it is a two-time finalist right now, which is super exciting. I had not known that before. Also, Edie E. Bell, who is one of the people at Athos, also her book Lord's Dome is a finalist in the speculative fiction category there, which is awesome. So congratulations to Edie E. Bell. But I'm super excited about that. Thank you to everybody who has said hi, has said thank you to me, has said congratulations to me both here and back at my own channel. So I'm very excited about that. But I'm also excited because you know what I have in front of me is this. That's right. I have the actual book, Talisman Adventures Fantasy Role Playing. There it is. There it is. Nope. Don't worry about my face. Worry about this instead. There you go. Talisman Adventures Fantasy Role Playing. See, it's trying to focus on my face. It's like, you mean your face? It really wants to focus on my face. I know that. Don't focus on the face. Focus on the words. Focus on the words that are in front of you. Here, I'll block off my face. There you go. Talisman Adventures Fantasy Role-Playing Game. Very excited. I got this book. It's a great looking book. Really beautiful with all kinds of cool pictures and, you know, charts and tables and things like this. It even has its own, this is how you know it's cool, its own bookmark. Yeah, it's got its own bookmark. It comes, of course, with a map. So it comes with this map. And it also comes with these light and dark fate tokens so that you can use these yourself. So it's a really nice. So thank you to Tim Huckleberry, who is the who's the Talisman brand manager and the U.S. manager for Pegasus Spiel over here. Thank you for getting those to us. And I believe someone else in our group has also gotten these, as you're about to see. Thank you for delivering this to us. I am so happy to have a physical book and not have to fiddle with a PDF. I can't even tell you. It's so great. Yeah, fabric map. Well, listen, one step at a time, okay? Like, only so many miracles at a time. But no, seriously, thank you to them. And the other thing, the last thing I'm excited about, I'm going to reveal in just a moment. But first, I'm going to unmute myself so the folks know that we are ready to go. And then I'm going to unmute them. And last but certainly not least, I'm going to head over to reveal the crew which awaits. to play this sponsored game of Talisman Adventures. I'm here with genuine good friends and this crew, which has, while I've been gone, somehow changed around so that
I was
Muriel
about
has
to say we're
become.
in the wrong spot.
Yeah, that's
I'm in the
not.
wrong
That's not.
window,
How
friend.
is
I mean, I'll
this?
play Muriel if you
I mean, I
want,
play
but I don't
Ashflower.
know.
Like that's
This
fair.
Yeah.
something happened. Oh God, here we go. The
There's an idea
classic.
for
It's
a
never
DM.
gonna.
Everybody gets mind swapped for a session.
Yeah.
I'm sure that would be great. Okay, that's and by great I mean no, that would be awful. Let's see. Okay, I think I did it. Except now suddenly I am Muriel, and that's
Dude, what is
definitely
going on with
not
your windows?
what
I'm just watching the stream. It's like Celebrity Squares.
I
Like,
just it doesn't. Zoom is not clear about how it does this, and it's really annoying. And like I don't understand why it does this way. I think I got it. Okay,
so
everyone's in the right spot.
Darksaber's the DM, right?
Yeah, no, I got it. It's good.
Roll for initiative.
We're all fine here now. Thanks. How are you? We're all good. Okay, but I do want to mention while I have them all here before I have them introduce themselves that this wonderful crew is going to be part of my charity event happening on my channel next month called ArvCon. We are going to have our normal set of events happening on the usual Tuesday. So we'll have D&D with GOG Storm King's Thunder, and we will have Talisman Adventures, this game. But then on it looks like we're not 100% confirmed, but it looks like we're moving towards Saturday the 29th of May, it looks like, which is during Memorial Day weekend in the States. We will have the final D&D with GOG Storm King's Thunder. So the closing session where they will face down the evil Imrith, and we'll see whether Imrith destroys them or whether they destroy Imrith. We'll find out. I also want to point out, because I've said this to all my groups, that my Infinity and Beyond group, which currently is playing through Palace of the Red Pasha, they have referred to themselves as the A-Team because they've been running for the longest. But it needs to be said, they do this as a joking thing in terms of how much money gets raised. Last year, though, the group that raised the most money for ArvCon, which is to benefit the Damon Runyon Cancer Research Foundation, was the Esper Genesis group. So I just want to let this lovely group of people know below me here that, you know, the gauntlet has been thrown, and the real question is not whether you defeat Imrith, but whether you will be able to raise more money because of your spectacular play than any other group. And I'm, with that in mind, I'm curious, Pyron Jade, head of the GOG stream team, whether or not, before you introduce your character, do you have a good feeling for your ability to defeat the other groups in raising money? How do you feel about your status vis-a-vis the so-called, and I quote, A-Team?
I feel really good about beating up other people, but I'm not sure about the charity part. So yes, I think we can beat the A-Team, but let's see about raising money. We'll see. We'll see. I think we've got some tricks down our sleeves that even the A-Team is not prepared for.
Even the A-Team cannot. Yeah, exactly, Chai. This is how she became a fearless leader. I will beat up people, also the money. And Echo Alpha subscribed to Tier 1, 49-month streak. Roll for initiative, 49 years of DRM free. Can I give a raise to the entire stream team? Listen, if you'd like to let the powers of God give also a raise, I think we'd all be totally on board with that. Pyron Jade, if you're Team Alpha, then you're mine. Well, listen, that's not the same thing. That's not Echo. It's different Alpha, different thing. But yes. Okay, so we'll see whether, as Pyron says, we will see whether they do it. I'll be curious to see what each member of the party thinks. Besides that, Pyron, how are you otherwise, and who are you playing today?
Oh, I'm okay. The kids are home because I live in a Corona hotspot. Yay! Oh. And so I've got like home office and kids, and people who think that home office and kids work together don't know home office nor kids. Mm-hmm. So yay! So I'm really happy to have this kind of distraction and different thing. And I'm going to be Regina, the sprite warrior who, despite her minuscule size, can actually rip most of people's heads off, I guess. Maybe. Yes. But she will at least try, even if it doesn't work. And she is willing to try for a long time. So,
so you mean just that. Like continue to rip off a head like for hours? Just like this head is going to come off eventually.
If it doesn't work, you have a very angry sprite hanging onto your ponytail. So there's that.
Yeah, the image of the very angry sprite. I feel like there's going to be a spin-off comedy that will be called, or spin-off something, comic dramedy, right? At some point that's going to be called The Very Angry Sprite. And I feel like Regina is going to be, front and center of that. It is a great pleasure to have Pyron with us. It's also a great pleasure to have Darksaber 2K with us, who, as usual, I will thank publicly for helping do all the Moobot and the dashboard stuff. I did lurk a little bit while Saber was Mad Maxing it up the other day, and and I didn't realize that you could change it to look like you were basically Mad Max now, like you literally added yourself to the game, because I'm pretty sure I saw the equivalent of you in there, and I was super impressed. I think it's as metal as it gets. Metal AF, really. So, Saber, good to see you. How is everything going? Do you feel like we have the ability, this group, to defeat the A-Team in terms of raising money for Damon Runyon? And who are you playing today?
Well, I mean, raising money isn't really something Celtic's got a talent for. But if you need someone to nick it from the other teams,
well, what about Reginald though? Could he like graveyard it up somehow, or like I don't know, like
I could bury the competition.
See,
Hey.
you'll be dead once I'm done with you. I mean, when I get to you.
Yeah. Like life's good. Life's good. Finally got my first vaccination appointment confirmation through, so I'll be getting that in a couple of weeks.
Awesome.
So finally getting moving with that. I do not have a copy of Talisman Adventures yet, but it's in the post.
he's like, not that I'm bitter. Like all the people are here.
I'm looking forward to getting that though, very much, very, very much. And like you say, finished Mad Max on Sunday. If you haven't bought it yet, go out and buy it on GOG. It's great. You can play as me.
Indeed.
And yeah, I am going to be back as Reginald Shoon. No relation to the angry little woman above me. Wait, no, hang on. That sounded better in my head.
All right, that's our show. We want to thank
Moving on.
everyone for coming.
Moving on before I'm fired.
The what woman?
I want to thank Darksaber, I think, and I'm going to move on down the line to someone else who I'm happy to have with us.
The what?
Apparently, and this is going to go on for the next hour. The what? The who? And that, of course, is our good friend Peripheral Mike, who, of course, has been blown up with all the things that he's been doing on the YouTube and elsewhere. So my question is, other than your justified bitterness at not yet receiving, whoops, it slipped and fell in front of the camera, your hardcover copy of Talisman Adventures, which is on the way. But other than that, do you think we have the chance? Now, you actually have been associated in the past, Mike, with this A-Team, this being the Infinity and Beyond group. Do you feel like we will defeat, that your team will defeat them in terms of raising money for Damon Runyon? And who are you playing today?
Well, let's get the initial thing out of the way. I am playing Ashflower, the Lay Walker assassin who senses a great disturbance in the magical fabric of time and space and must investigate it. Also, I'm seeing nothing but chat notifications from Zoom popping up at the moment because Saber and Parent Jade are just talking about what Dog Saber just said. So this is top quality content for me right now, I'm not going to lie. In regards to the book, unfortunately, I am also a member of the island that voted leave. So sadly, everything that goes in the post just kind of goes around the big island for a while and eventually might get to you. I've had this happen for several things already, and I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to end anytime soon. So it's a little bit like some sort of portal around the British Isles. Like Post will get to it and then just travel in this vortex of Brexit for a while. And then eventually, not unlike our campaign with Stalking Thunder, with the cyclone, it gets spat out. And if you just happen to be there to catch it, you get your parcel. That's Royal Mail, folks. Anyway, yeah, so I don't have the book yet. I probably will do soon. In regards to raising money, I have been associated in the past with this. I would say the A-Team, but the only thing A about them is the A in their actual title. So the Infinity and Beyond team, we all know what A stands for. We're the B team because we're the best people. Is that I didn't realize there was smack talk involved in this, and I also didn't realize there was a level of competition. And let me tell you, as someone who, let's say 5 years ago, was potentially told he would never walk again and would definitely never run, I just won my first virtual running medal. So, bitch, I get contagiously, aggressively competitive.
Hell yeah. I love
All
everything.
right.
I love everything about that. I should say that most of this
So-
is coming from Rob, who keeps calling themselves the A team. But
Shocker.
regardless, Rob is the one who's going to get. He'll have to take the hit.
Shocker. Well, I'm not going to actually start talking smack about people because I think that's not very nice. I could pretend talk smack about people and probably, roast them and probably very, very good at it. But I'm not going to do that just yet. Let's see what they come back with first. Considering, they should have a good comeback considering they're all has-been writers. Anyway,
Oh, dang!
so
Wait a minute. When you say
stop it,
all
he's
of them-
already dead.
When you say all of them are has-been writers. Do you mean
Yeah, not
the
you,
dungeon?
obviously.
Okay, good. All right. That's
Yeah, not
fine.
you.
Continue.
You're
Carry on.
agnostic.
Carry on.
You're
Okay.
group agnostic. You run all the groups, right? Get it? All right.
Carry on.
Yeah, so that's pretty much me. I'm now winding up Stream Team members and causing beef with people. Come at me, Rob. And I'll also be now apparently organising the charity fundraising for this team.
Outstanding. I'm excited for all of that. No, of course, this all concealing that Mike is genuinely one of the nicest people that I know. It's genuinely so. So you are in the right spot to be talked smack to, and just shows you, Rob, what's happened here. I also think that Chai is an extraordinarily nice person, and I'm not 100% sure how Chai is going to top the smack talk about this. But I'll certainly mention. I will mention that I don't think Chai has her book yet either, and I'm pretty sure that Utah did not vote to leave the UK. I'm pretty sure they are not part of Brexit, so this isn't just.
It comes via the UK. It has to go through us.
It was
That's
the
how it
Utah
works.
vortex, apparently, also.
Yeah.
But I will say hello to Chai. I will ask her who she is playing today and how she's doing otherwise. And I'll also say, do you also feel like we have the ability to defeat and obliterate, you all, I should say, have the ability to defeat and obliterate the A-team, so-called A-team, in raising money for charity? Your thoughts.
My thoughts. Well, hello. I am playing Muriel, who is an elven prophet, which is basically the talisman equivalent of a Malkavian. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to enjoy that. And she's really good at accidentally insulting Regina. And she just so doesn't mean to, but she totally does.
Regina is good at being insulted by people in general.
I know,
So that's
it's the worst combination, and it's great. It's so much fun. As for me not having my book, it actually might be down in the mailbox because I got a notification that a piece of mail is in my mailbox.
Ooh.
So it might be down there, but I'm currently here instead of at my mailbox. So we're just going to have to see if it's actually there or not.
Okay.
All right. And, I've actually always been really terrible at smack talk. So I'll just say that we collectively are easily the best D&D group ever in the entire world that has ever done any D&D ever. So
That's fair.
bring it.
I'm not very good at smack talk. Casually, you all need to step to the mic. I'm the best that has ever existed. I'm reminded of DMX, the rapper who recently passed away, was brought to his funeral. His coffin was brought on the back of a monster truck through the streets of New York City. And I was like, you know what? That's about as DMX as it gets. Like that's pretty much exactly what we're talking about. So that's the kind of smack talk feel that I want. I have to say that I myself am not consider myself a particularly competitive person. I do not like sort of doing these things. And the only time I bring this up is in context of who raises the most money to defeat a really dreaded, awful disease of cancer. And so that's where I'm happy to promote this semi-joking, rivalry among amazing players. That said, this is an amazing group, and I am very happy to be continuing to GM for them as we move into Talisman Adventures. So let us fire up some music, provided to you as per usual by the amazing Greenforge Studios. You should check them all out. And as we are playing this, let me make sure it's on. Yes, I hear the sound of forest sprites floating around, and except for Regina. But everyone else is flying around. And let's talk a little bit of what happened in our last session. Those of you who have been watching this campaign now for a couple of months will know that the group discovered each other, more or less, within a graveyard within the city. And while they were there, they found there was this terrible disruption that had taken place, and an artifact had been removed from one of the oldest mausoleums within the graveyard, that graveyard which is, of course, Reginald's charge. This was a talisman of some kind, a talisman of some power, although it's not clear as to what exactly the power ultimately is. But after asking around and gathering some information, they knew that the one person who might know what to do with this talisman, or who would have stolen it, and could be doing all these terrible things, which is why the ghosts and spirits of the graveyard were restless in the first place. The person they could ask is a powerful magician known as the Enchantress, who lives outside of the city. And so the party collectively decided that they would go and travel to try to find this person and to gather information from her if they could. But something funny happened on the way to the forum, as the old joke goes, because while they were traveling and exploring, they did manage to do a shortcut. I believe they had a great success, if I'm not mistaken, on one of their checks. So they were able to do a shortcut in terms of how to get to where the Enchantress lives, but they still had one night that they had to attend to. And that evening led them to the ruins of a castle. As they were heading over there, they found there were not one, not two, but 3 goblins that were actually awaiting them there, and they ended up battling these goblins. Although when I say battle, it mostly consisted of the goblins being set on fire and then burning to a crisp while everyone shouted at each other about how it was terrible that they were burning. That's basically the way the goblins saw it anyway. And so the party was able to defeat these goblins without too much difficulty. And so now, as we begin our next stage of the adventure, it is the evening. The goblins have just been defeated. The party is currently sitting within the shelter of the castle ruins. And each party member, because we're at the beginning of a session, has 1 light fate. So all of you have 1 light fate to begin with. I, by virtue of my role as GM, have been given 1 dark fate for each of you. So that is 4 dark fate. And I think, just because I'm going to be the cool kid, I'm just going to open up my little dark fate collection here. And I'm just going to pull this out. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. There we go, chat. 4 dark fate like that. Come on, zoom in, camera. I know you can do it. It really is so good at face focusing, it doesn't ever want me to be seen. Or not be seen or focused on. There we go. See it? Lovely. There it is. That's the dark fate. I have 4 of them. And so I will be able to use those throughout the course of the adventure if needed. Although, why would I do that to this lovely party that we have before us? So, party, I'm going to hand this over to you. It is evening. You are in the nighttime before your next day of travel, when you should, if all goes well, arrive at the Enchantress, and you're in the castle ruins. What would you like to do?
So just remind me, the goblins are dead, right?
Yes, you killed them all. They
Excellent
are burned
stuff.
to a crisp, actually. At least 2 of them are.
Delicious. Well, I would suggest we try and get some rest.
I concur.
I think we should get drunk first.
I mean, that sounds like a reasonable plan. I'm not gonna lie.
I know.
No, Muriel doesn't drink.
Yeah, I figured as much. You're the type.
The type to have really exciting visions? Yeah, I am that type.
It's beer. Beer doesn't really give you exciting visions. That's other stuff.
I suppose it depends how much you drink, really.
Alcohol tolerance and such like, yes. Also possible celiac disease, but I don't think that's a thing here.
Beer doesn't give you disease.
Got some people in my graveyard who beg to differ.
I don't think the people in your graveyard still differ.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go lay down, and you guys can do whatever you do.
Okay. You're still carrying my alcohol, though. Could you?
Oh yeah, sorry. Here you go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Leave it.
Okay.
If she leaves it, I'll just try to drag it behind me the whole time. The whole wineskin.
All right. Are you going to set a watch? Actually, let me double check. Did you find
have
the
no
goblins
watch.
on the watch? last time, or was it while
We came up
traveling?
on them.
You can't. That's what I thought. Okay, so you hadn't set a watch yet. All right. So now that you were in this place, you are in these ruins, and you can now, if you wish, presumably you would wish to set a watch for the evening, in terms of staggering sleep and all that kind of stuff. So someone's up watching.
After having drunk a bit, Regina will make the following proposition. We could just take the goblins and we could prop them out on outside the wall, so everybody thinks they're still alive. So if somebody wants to assault us, they assault the dead goblins, and we'll heal them, and that way we can all sleep.
You wish to make totems out of them.
No, that sounds like something that would take a lot of time. I would just prop them up.
I mean, we could just pin
What
them
if
to the wall.
someone wants to attack the goblins?
Then we'll still hear them.
This is a genuine awkward silence from everyone right now.
Yeah, pretty much. Dave, this isn't a player awkward silence. This is a character awkward silence. We're actually never normally this quiet, to be honest.
It's literally, I have no response to this.
Yeah, no,
Regina is used to not having people talk back to her, so she doesn't really register.
Not that awkward. Triffid says weekend at Centuries. That's kind of. Yes.
I pick up one of the reasonably unburned goblins, and I see if it would. I prop it against the wall. So I prop it against the wall. I let go, and presumably it immediately just flops.
Yeah,
It just crumbles.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
just crumples. No, we're definitely
can
going
pin
to
it
have
to
to
the
pin
wall,
it to something. Yeah. Well, has anybody got any nails? We could make a warning totem out of this. We could just hammer them to a wall outside, and then people will know that either there's goblins inside or something that kills goblins.
Might attract scavengers. Wolves and such like.
I think the smell of burning goblin flesh would probably do that more than the actual goblin outside.
Well, all of this seems just too much work. I'll go to sleep. If you need me, wake me up.
Very well. I don't normally need to sleep much, so I don't mind taking watch.
Don't really sleep myself.
Well, if you wish, we could stagger the sleep pattern. We could get some shut eye, and then I could rest afterwards. Or we could change that around, and you could go first. I have no strong opinions on this.
It's all same to me.
Very well. I leave the cave. I don't like. Ashflower doesn't really talk to people much.
That's pretty much every character's backstory is, we spent a lot of time alone, so this has been really awkward since we've
really
met.
True. Every character is just on their own a lot.
Yep, we're all just a bit of a loner, so our social skills are out the window. And normally it's that's fine if one character does that, but we've got a group of them.
This is a good way to role play post-pandemic emergence. Once we're all out, we'll learn how to do this again.
I have wonderful social skills. It's the others that failed, not me.
Yeah.
Totally not.
They're
You
always
have
the
wonderful
problem.
socializing skills.
They are always the problem. While you were all sort of figuring out this watch thing, by the way, I do think we had, last time you may remember that we had set a role for each character during exploration. We had a guide, we had a watcher, we had a hunter, and so I wanted to double check and see if we remembered who the guide was, because I don't actually recall which one was the guide.
I think that was me.
Okay. So
Was
I'm
it
not
not
sure.
me?
Oh no, sorry, you were the guide. Was I the watcher, and was Regina the hunter? Because she said she likes killing things.
Yeah, I
I'm
was
the
just the
hunter.
helper. Yeah.
I'm the
Yes.
hunter.
Okay.
You were definitely moral support.
So then, Reginald.
I just
as-
remember I did a roll, which is how we found the castle, but I can't remember what skill led to me being
Fine.
designated the guide.
Right.
You
That's the
didn't.
guide.
You didn't do a roll. You absolutely smashed a roll.
That's true.
Yeah, you destroyed the roll. That's true.
I can't remember what it was, so that I know what
No,
I'll
but
be.
You definitely nailed that roll.
So I will need you to make for me, guide, a survival test, which is based on insight, to
Okay.
actually find a place. Now you already have a place to set up camp. The question is how well you conceal it within the ruins to prevent attention. Let us put it that way.
Okay. So insight gives me a +2 on 3d6. So that is the wrong window. There we go. And it's the last one that's the focus, isn't it?
Kismet. Yes.
Kismet, yes.
That's right.
So, hang on. Let's get this. 3. I should have done this earlier. 3d6 +2. Doubles.
Wow. Okay. So.
And a 6 on Kismet.
Yeah. So that's wow. Okay. So first of all, that means that we have a couple of things that are going to happen as a result of all of this. So when we're up to there, and I get to go here quickly instead of having to take forever to do it, and that's why I'm so happy at this. Okay. So you were going to do this stuff with the Kismet die. Okay. So first of all, let me make sure I know what the test was that you were looking for. Okay, so that's going to be about 12. All right, so you had a total of 17, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so that is going to be a success. So let's see, that means that you got a success. Also, because we had the bonus die, Kismet die.
Wouldn't doubles be a great success?
Yeah, it's a great success. Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, but I'm trying to find out also about the Kismet die that's connected to this. But in any case, yes. So a great success from the doubles, and then the 3 I think is where you would have had an extraordinary success. So instead, you had a great success, and you get a light fate, Reginald. So you have got 2 light fate now instead of 1, which I will mark down as well. And yeah, so because you are dealing with a great success, that means that the number that I have to roll to see if there is actually going to be a encounter is going to be very unlikely. It's possible, but unlikely. So let's see. Okay. So now that I have determined that privately, and I know whether or not an encounter is going to occur, now you can do your watch. So again, the order that you said you were doing was what order? Who's going when at what time?
I think everyone left me to it.
So basically, they're just you. So you're gonna be doing the check. Okay.
He's the only one who doesn't sleep. It's just logical.
Okay.
Still
enough.
needs to rest. Just don't sleep.
So, as you go through this, Reginald, as the night passes, at one point you're going along trying to get a sense of like what the like just sort of listening carefully out there, and then at one point you may or may not hear something. I would like you please to roll for me a notice check, which I believe is going to be based on craft, and specifically I think it's a wits. So you're going to be making a notice/wits test, please.
At +4, because I have the notice skill.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, so 3d6 +4. Just wonder whether I should just use a light fate for the heck of it, but let's not.
I mean, yeah. Just throw them out like they're going out of style.
Maybe save
Yeah.
that.
Oh, that's weird. I can see Mike's video in Roll20.
Oh,
That's weird.
yeah.
He looks so confused. He's just in amongst everybody's little avatar.
I have mine blocked, so you probably need to make sure that you're.
In Roll20 in the bottom left where it shows you where all the players are and they've got
I
like,
don't
their
see
names.
that.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah?
we're
Oh,
getting
you're
feedback.
I
echoing
don't
as
see
well.
that at all. Oh,
Yeah, you're coming through microphone in Roll20 as well now.
Hold on, let me.
It looks hilarious. So it's a shame I can't show the people on stream this because it is brilliant. It's like this little tiny mic just next to like me and my little hobbit avatar.
All right, let me see. I'm going to actually reconnect.
How's that? Oh no.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
All right, talk again, Mike.
Well, that was weird.
Good.
That was really weird.
All good. Everything's fine.
That was really bizarre.
Well then.
Hey, that would explain why my roll 20 has been really sluggish and my camera keeps skipping out.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up. I thought it might have been.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's another great success with a 17.
Good grief.
Crushing it.
I know, absolutely.
Can you roll all of our dice as well, please?
I know, right? Okay, so as you are, this is probably, Reginald, since you're taking the entire watch, this is probably happening, I would say, a couple of hours before dawn, let us say. And you were just sort of hanging out. Or besides listening, are you just like, obviously Boots is right next to you, and as per usual. Are you looking in a particular direction, or are you just sort of generally trying to be aware of the environment?
I'm sort of taking in nature, being a druid.
Okay. So
I don't get away from the city very often, so
one of the things that you notice about this is the wind, first of all. The wind is much more, you're more aware of it here on the plains. So not only the feel, but the sound of the, sort of flowing over you. So there's that. And the other thing that you think you hear in the distance is what sounds like a, like way, way off in the distance. There is it sounds like a howling, but it doesn't sound like a wolf. It sounds like some other kind of, like that. Way far away. You don't see anything.
yeah. Hang on a second. Damn it. I can't wait to get my book.
I'm so happy. It's so good.
Just juggling like 5 different windows to try and find my character sheet right now.
Yeah.
I have an animal handling skill. Would that maybe help me identify the howl?
I'm not sure that animal handling would do it. I'm wondering a little bit about what check I could give you that might actually work for this.
I mean, the only one I'm looking at my thing, and the only other thing I'm thinking is maybe survival.
Yeah, survival is the one I was going to say. Yes, do that.
Okay. Let's see how much further I can push this lock.
I know. Well, I mean, you got your extra light fate.
Yeah, that's actually true. Nah, let's ride the wave.
Okay.
Well then, there's another light fate for me.
You realize that this is what happens when you're getting like decapitated multiple times in an hour from now when your luck has deserted you. You realize this is how this
I'll
works.
have light fate for that.
Good.
3 doubles in a row.
3 doubles in a row, yeah. So
I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket, BRB.
Good God, that's another great success and a grand total of 16. So, if you had to guess, Reginald, so this definitely sounds to you like, as we said, not a wolf or a coyote or even a howling dog, but it has a faint kind of quality to it. And as you're kind of listening, you notice that Boots is like looking around. And now, of course, Boots can interact with the world. I mean, Boots can hear and see things, but Boots is sort of looking around, and then Boots stands up. And Boots looks at you and goes, "Oh!" Now, Boots has, as ghosts usually are, Boots is essentially silent. So this is the first time that you, since Boots was a living dog, have ever heard this unearthly, quite literally, howl emanating from it. And it harmonizes almost perfectly with the howl coming from a distance. So it's oh, oh, together. And you sort of see Boots doing this a little while, and then Boots sort of looks at you and wags his tail and settles down and goes to sleep.
I settle back down because if Boots isn't concerned, then I'm not concerned.
Yep. But you've never seen Boots do that. So
It's weird. I'm not going to like close my eyes or anything, but I'm a little less on my guard.
Gotcha. And the rest of the night passes uneventfully until all of you are awakened the next morning by Reginald, and not by a howling sound.
You all just wake up to see this very desiccated, dried up looking, not quite human, just staring at you patiently. Patience is the dead.
It's not the first time I've been woken up by a walking corpse, and I'm sure it won't be the last.
Good morning.
Morning.
I, without saying
Ash
anything, leave the cave and try and face the sunrise.
Good
because
morning.
sunrise is one of the... Good morning, fairy friend. I go and try and find the sunrise because I've been sat in a cave, and that's not normally something I...
You're
I
a
do.
fairy.
I like the idea that, like, Chris, you're saying this to me meta, but you're also in your mind, like, now I will find... Hey! Hi. No. Hey! Like, you're just kind of like...
Yeah, it's almost... Yeah, it's a little bit narrative. Like I'm my own narrator.
Oh, man. So, yes, you're able to find the sun, which is rising from the east over the plains, casting long shadows that are beginning to disappear even as you watch.
Also, just really quick, I want to... So I've been wrapped up in, like, my cloak all night because I've been trying to stay warm. I'm going to take that off and just, like, shake all the dust out of it from the cave. And for the first time, you realize I'm not actually wearing, like, anything underneath it other than a loincloth. And I've got, like, the two big goat legs that, I mean, you saw, but you didn't realize they were, like, full goat legs, probably. And the top half is just covered in glowing symbols. And obviously, they've got the horns. So I'm just whipping the cloak out, and then I put the cloak back on.
Okay.
That must be really uncomfortable with pants. I mean, is it, right? Because if you pull up a pant, it goes against the growth of the fur, and like... So that must be horrible, isn't it? Isn't it?
Oh, I don't understand how bipeds wear trousers. I don't get the fascination at all.
With less hairy legs. That's the whole trick.
Well, I've always stayed warm from the waist down, so I've never really had a problem with that. So,
Okay.
and they're remarkably dry too, even when it rains. It's similar to duck feathers. Water just seems to go straight off of them.
Do you, like, shake them off after the rain? Like...
Depends
Also-
on the weather. On a very stormy day, I can get bits of twig and leaf stuck in my fur in my legs, and then I will just... But it's just a simple brush off rather than anything else. Also, that's where the big cloak comes in, because that normally protects me from the elements and stops people getting quite scared of me.
Do you have a tail?
No.
Why not?
I gingerly look behind me. Right.
You would... I guess you would
No.
know if you had one. If you have to look, you have none.
No, I didn't last time I checked.
So that you do think it's possible that you could suddenly have a tail? Did you suddenly get goat legs?
In the world, no, I was born like this. Well, I was created like this.
You were created like this?
Yes.
Like by your mom, or is it more complicated?
It's more complicated than that in my culture. I'm aware how other races procreate. That's not how Laywalkers are born. We can go into this when we've found somewhere more suitable.
There are suitable places to talk about Laywalker procreation. I am very
Yes.
suspicious about all of this.
There are suitable places to talk about everything.
Okay.
Just
Reginald!
with everything in this world, when we talk about it, keep an open mind.
Good morning, Reginald!
Morning.
Okay. Good morning, Muriel.
Oh, good morning. Did everyone sleep okay? I had the best dreams about weird things, making noises, and all sorts of stuff. It was so fun. What did you guys dream about?
That could have been me. I do snore.
It might have been you. That would have been fun, huh? Like we're sharing dreams.
Boots had a howl, might have woke you. Not heard him howl ever,
Can we,
far as I remember.
can we actually see Boots?
I would imagine you could, right? I mean, I would think that you could see. I guess it would depend on whether Boots wanted to be seen somewhat. But...
Yeah, I think there is a distinction between spirits that can be seen and can't be seen, but where is it? Yeah, no, I don't think he's not specifically invisible. So yeah, you can see him.
Okay, then. What's a Boots?
Boots. Point down at the. I point down near my boots. And there's a little ghost dog.
Oh, you call your dog Boots.
I would like to
Aye.
pet Boots. I would very much like to try and pet Boots. So
I'll
I
stop
kneel.
you.
I
Mhm.
lean down, and with incredible care, I try and stroke the top of Boots's head where Boots may feel it. Is Boots a he or a she?
Hey,
A he. Where Boots may feel it. Yeah, where he may feel it.
Boots wags his tail.
This is a good dog.
Very good dog. So loyal, refuses to believe he died.
I'm not so sure this is the first person who's probably had that problem around you, friend.
I do tend to be sought out for that. Sometimes you need a priest, sometimes you need a shoe.
We have different ways of achieving the same goal. I'm glad that you are with me on this journey.
Still ain't rightly clear on how we got here.
But you were with us yesterday. We walked.
Is your memory defective?
No, no.
I go to put a hand near Reginald's head, almost like looking around his skull. Like, were you injured? Are you broken?
No, remember the journey just fine.
Oh,
Just,
you mean the grander scheme?
yeah.
I see. Well, sometimes we
Don't
have to
get a
take
lot
that
of
sort thing on
humans
faith.
visit my graveyard, much less the magical races.
Of that, I think we can all agree.
So, but we're still going to that magic woman, right? Because
Fate has
of the
ordained it
thing
so.
that is missing from your graveyard, right?
I got
No,
a
not
bad
you.
feeling about that missing.
Yes, and she can help us.
That's what Dung Sweeper reckons. Not much goes on in the city that the Dung Sweeper don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
So, remind me, fallen friend, and I refer to Reginald at this point. Who are we going to see again? Is it the Enchantress?
I believe so. Yeah, she's got a bit of a short temper.
Marvelous.
That is not a bad thing.
I've met her seer before.
It is if you're on the receiving end of a toadening.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
never seen a human get turned into a toad before. That's amazing. Let's go.
We don't have a human.
I'm not a human.
Oh, speaking
Okay.
of toads, were there any frogs nearby last night while we were sleeping?
None that I heard.
I didn't hear any.
Oh. Because
Did
in
you
my
hear some?
dream, I didn't see anything because I never see things except for when I do. But I did it last night, and I heard like frogs, like frog noise. So I thought maybe it was snoring frogs. I don't know. There was frogs, I think, or one frog.
Ashlar leans into to Muriel. So I would say uncomfortably close for social distancing reasons. And there's a slight head tilt. You are fascinating. And then he resumed what he was doing.
You smell like woods.
I would.
We should
And that's
probably.
that.
You smell faintly of strawberries for some reason.
Oh, Arv, would we say we've had a long rest?
Yes, I would say so.
Excellent.
All except you. Although I guess technically, see, I don't know. I mean, obviously,
Yeah, that's a
sleep
good
is
point.
not a requirement, but you really weren't resting, Reginald. I don't think that's in fairness to
Can
everybody.
we say I had a short rest?
Sure, I'll say that you get a short rest.
Okay, now, when I put that roll on resting.
See, I bet he doesn't do this for the A team.
Oh, good. I get 1d6 spell points back.
Let's go see the enchantress and move the problem over to her. That is
Well,
my plan.
I'm back up to max spell points again because apparently I cannot roll low tonight.
Well, listen, I know you're all broken up.
Just
about
you
that.
wait until combat,
I
friends.
was gonna
Just you
say,
wait until combat.
I look forward to a lot
But with
of
my
epic
3
fails.
light fates.
Oops, accidentally eats your hand.
Sorry, there was a really low percentage chance of that happening, but
Yeah, it was super rare. Super, super rare.
it usually doesn't happen.
It's in page 152 of my physical book.
You'd see it if you saw
You don't
my
get that in the
physical
PDF.
book.
Pouncing
The
pool.
pull-out.
Brexit, more like book exit, am I right?
Hey, lovely bit of business. Lovely. Keep it going.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, right. So let me move the map over a little bit so we can see where we are. If I can ever find where to put the bloody page.
Oh, is the physical book being a bit of a handful?
No, not the, no. It's the virtual. It's not the physical book. I'm trying to fix the map on OBS. No, my map here, and I appreciate you mentioning it to me.
Your
We're on
physical
maximum
map. Just
sass
hang-
tonight, aren't
Whoops.
Just hang that. It's the smack talk from earlier. That's what it is. I didn't realize there was beef between stream teams. I'm on board. I'm fired up right now. I'm ready
we? Full
to.
sass ahead.
Well, so that's ahead. This is all completely created and probably maintained by Rob. I just want you all to know. This is completely Rob's fault.
Well, Rob may have maintained it, but there is going to be a lot of collateral damage.
I'm going
That's all
to.
I'm saying. Splash damage to the maximum, friends.
I note suddenly, by the way, that Chaya's got extremely young in about the last 30 seconds, I would say.
Is she a wild mage? Did something go horribly, horribly
I don't
wrong?
know. I'm not sure. She seems to be not wanting
My
to look
sister-
at the camera and, sort of like taking. Oh, okay, there we go. So only that's true, Lone Wolf. Sod does take the team's lumps. Okay, so when everybody is ready to go, you're going to set
Sod
back
must
out.
be protected at all costs.
Now you had one more check that you needed to make, which is to go the rest of the way. Because of the shortcut that Reginald found, it is sped up considerably, as I said, the time to actually get to the Enchantress. But you do have to do one more check like this. And so I'm going to have the guide here make either lore/wits test or survival/insight test to see whether or not you're able to find the rest of the route. Because it is possible on a failure, for example, that you could be delayed through hazard or something else in reaching the Enchantress. So that's the deal with that. Of course, you do have your multiple light fates, so there is that. Which could be used.
Yeah, it's probably a good time to use one. I'll probably end up replenishing it immediately the way things are going.
Wow. Check out the flex on this guy now, all of a sudden. All right.
I'm not used to dice rolls going this well for me consecutively. Let me enjoy
Better
this.
do well, friend. Better do well.
Yeah, it is true.
Hang on, right,
I'm
light
saying.
fate.
You
Let me see what I
follow
can
through
do
with this
here.
flex. You gotta follow through.
So I can spend one to get a bonus die on this check,
Right.
or I can spend it to re-roll one of my 3d6 after the roll, but not on a failure, I think. Yeah, so I have to get a success. If I get a success, I can try and re-roll one of the dice to turn it into a great success.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll go for the 4d6
Okay.
for this one. So let me mark off the light fate.
So we're down to 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll do 3d6 and then the 3d6, then the bonus d6, and I will pick which of them I want to keep. But I have to keep the Kismet dice.
Right.
So it's 3d6 plus 4, because I'm testing against my law skill. So we'll do that first. And so Kismet's a 4. Let me roll another one.
Okay.
So another 3. That's a 3. Okay, I'll keep the 6, 5, and the 4.
Okay. So we are talking about a 19 then. Okay. So I would say this looks to me like a standard success. You did not roll a 1 on the Kismet. So that means that you move basically at your normal pace, full speed with no delay. There are no hazards that are introduced into this. And so you make fairly good progress, and probably at about, I would say, maybe 2 in the afternoon or so, you come across what you think, or at least you hope, might be your destination. Nestled within a small copse of trees, and let me actually show you where exactly that is. Basically right around here-ish. So right near these split oak woods here to the northeast. You find a shack that is made of mud and wood. Its roof is topped with sod. Not sod from Infinity Beyond, it's sod, actual sod. You can
must
see
protect him at all costs.
Exactly. You can see a dark forest on the horizon, maybe a kilometer beyond the hut. This is how you know that it's European, because they're using kilometers. And I'm like, that's like 6 million miles, right? 1 kilometer is 6 million miles.
It's 14 and a half Celsius.
Yes, that's it, exactly. You detect no movement and hear no sound except the burbling water of the creek. What's up, Takanjia? And the creaking of the trees as a brisk wind rolls over the plains. This is more or less, Reginald, where you thought that the Enchantress could be found. And you do indeed see this shack, the door of which you can see is open.
I fly up to Muriel, and in the voice of somebody who is 100% sure that she'll now tell an extremely hilarious joke, I go, Muriel, his name is Shoe, and his dog is called Boots.
Oh my gosh! I never thought about it like that, but you're right. Oh my gosh!
My face can only be described as corpsing right now.
Resting corpse face, really.
Yeah.
Just,
Strong resting corpse face.
I'm just like, yeah.
Eagles, go on your feet!
Yep.
I look really confused and look down at my hooves.
It's true, you don't have feet.
Yes, I do.
Well, I mean,
I waggle a hoof. I have feet,
no, you have hooves.
but they're feet.
No, these are feet.
And why waggle my hoof again? I stand on it. It's got a bottom bit. It's got top bit.
Okay.
At the end of my leg.
Yeah.
It's just not
that's-
as.
I mean, it's in the right
I
place.
stamp on a
and-
nearby rock and it smashes. I'm like, I'd like to see you do that with one of your flesh feet.
I can't. Feet aren't as cool as hooves.
I
But
could do
hooves
that.
aren't
No.
feet.
Because they need boots. And then I lean down and stroke Boots again. And I was like, don't they, Boots? You know what's going on.
Boots rolls over.
I like that this continues as the
Flower.
sun sets, like you just like it rises
Flower.
and sets.
Edgeflower, if you ever have a pet and you call it something like ungulate or something, then we're going to try the joke again, okay?
Very well.
Good.
I continue walking.
Okay. So are you making your way to the shack? To this hut/shack?
Is there anything strange about the shack? Like, is there anybody stood outside it or around it or anything like that? Like,
So-
what can I see?
There is burbling water of a creek, and the brisk wind that I was talking about yesterday with Reginald can be heard again today. So that kind of blows past you. The door that is in the front of the shack, you note, is unlocked and open. I mean, it's unlocked because you know it's unlocked because it's open, which seems a little odd. Other than that, though, the dark forest some distance away. You've got this shack. near a small copse of trees next to a babbling creek. And that's pretty much all you can see from this distance. It's a very impressive looking shack.
Nothing like, bloodstains, dead bodies, anything like that.
That you would have to walk right up to it to see. This is what you can see still from a little bit of a distance.
I turn to Reginald. Does the enchantress live in a mud hut?
Don't know. Never met her.
Oh. Wait, how do you know we're going the right way?
I got directions.
Oh.
Well,
So
we
should
could maybe
should we?
we could call out.
You could.
I'm not one for loud noises. I much prefer not being seen.
Well, you can,
So
I don't know, sneak behind the hut then or something.
I mean, that's an idea, but you are very small.
So,
I motion to the fact that I'm nearly 6 foot tall and have 3 foot tall horns.
you don't think you see her looking at you, but you don't think that the size difference means anything to her.
You are very small. You would be less noticeable. Do you know what? It's fine. I'll go. I approach the hut as quietly as possible.
Okay. In the process of doing that, are you going to try to, let us say, be stealthy?
I am going to be stealthy.
Okay.
Does this class as in wilderness by any chance?
Sure.
Good, because that's what my focus is
That's
in.
what the focus is in. All right. So yeah, go ahead and make a stealth check for me, please.
Hey, do you want to just remind me real quick how to do that?
So I'm going to have a particular number that I'm thinking about
Yes.
that you're going to have to beat. And you're going to be making a test. So you're going to be rolling 3d6. And then the focus gives you what? We talked about this before. Focus
+2.
Plus 2, right? So you're going to be doing 3d6 plus 2. And you're going to be adding whatever your stealth skill would give you.
Yeah,
and
I'm just
stealth
trying
based
to.
on agility, usually.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you. I'm glad you told me that
Yeah, it's
because my
based on
PDF
agility.
viewer has crumbled to a halt
Yep. No,
because I
that's
don't have the physical book. So it's 3d6 plus agility plus my focus.
correct.
Yes?
That's right.
Awesome.
But I don't know if your stealth is better
advanced.
than like if you have like I don't know than agility, because stealth is usually based on agility, but sometimes stealth can be better depending on various like racial bonuses or whatever the case may be.
Not that I'm aware of
Okay.
at this point.
So then just
So it would be just
agility,
my
3d6
focus
agility, and the
in
focus.
stealth in wilderness and my agility and the 3d6.
Okay, yeah, that's right. 3d6 focus plus
3d6
2 and
plus
agility.
5. And did we say the first or the last one was the Kismet die?
Last one is what we've been doing.
Kiam. And that's not a great roll, but
So 13 total, is that what I'm looking at?
13, yeah,
Okay,
no
s-
doubles, no triples.
So you
nothing
kind
like
of, squish up, like, your hooves sinking a little bit in the mud that surrounds this hut. You're not super stealthy. I mean, you're not loud, but certainly if you were engaging in one of the things for which your class is named, you might not want to set up an assassination with this particular movement. But nonetheless, you don't hear anything inside, and you walk up to it and see that the wooden door, which is very flimsy, you can see from this distance, is unlocked, and you hear nothing coming from the inside. There's actually something coming from the inside, some kind of weird repetitive sound, but you can't really make out what it is because of the wind outside the hut, which is fairly loud, so you'd need to get in further into the hut. But nothing comes out and, says or does anything.
Okay, could I try and, I want to remain stood outside, but I want to kind of peer my head into the hut, if that makes sense.
You could do that, sure.
So is the hut, so just to get a picture in my mind, the door, so simple rudimentary kind of shack.
Correct.
Is the door in the center of the shack, or is it to one side of the shack?
The door is in the center of the shack, and it goes inwards.
Goes in the center. Okay.
And it's open to the inside, about halfway, roughly speaking. And the
So if I
light
poke my
streams
head
in from
through,
the
I'd
inside.
be able to see like one half of the shack, but not the stuff. I want to be able to poke my head through so I can see one half of the shack, but not the stuff on the other side of the door just yet.
That's right.
Okay. And I don't mind doing another stealth check for that if you need me to, because I want to try and be as stealthy as possible.
No, I don't think so. I think you're okay just to do this part of it.
Okay.
So when you look inside, on the back of the back wall opposite you, you can see that there is a small hearth, but it looks cold and looks like no one has cooked there recently. To the right, you can also see a small pallet made of straw, which is resting in a corner near a wooden chest. And you can see those things. And you can also see that there is, so you can see that on the right side. You hear what sounds like this kind of mournful croaking sort of floating up from somewhere in the hut.
Do I recognize this noise? Like, is this a known noise to me, or is it just a generic croak?
It sounds like an animal croaking of some kind for sure, as opposed to someone being like, it's definitely an animal of some kind croaking.
So the side of the hut, so I don't see a person at the moment or a creature or anything
Correct.
like that. The side of the hut that is obscured by the door that's going inwards, is there a window that I could go to that would show me the inside of that part of the hut?
There's actually no windows in this hut. It is just a door, so the light that you have here is streaming in from the outside at the moment.
Good. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to put my head around the door.
Okay. You are immediately attacked by no, just kidding. As you look around the door, again, it's dim, but you can still see the light, the dim light. You can see more now, which is that there is a rickety table, which is over on the wall, basically directly opposite the bed. So if you look to the right, you saw the bed. Looking to the left around the door, you can see there's a table against the other wall, and there is a leather-bound journal, which is sitting atop that table. And lying in a heap near the table is a bundle of simple clothing and also a rather ostentatious pointed hat. And you hear is coming from underneath the hat.
See. I will approach the hat because, well, in my head, I'm thinking I normally don't have a group of people with me, so I've already forgotten they existed because they're more than 10 feet away. So I'm just like, guess I'm investigating this alone. I shall approach the hat and lift the hat up.
Underneath the hat, you see a fleshy gray toad, which looks up at you, mournfully croaking at you.
I shall speak to the toad and say, well, friend, it looks like something has befallen you that shouldn't have happened, eh? And I will pick the toad up and I will hold it close to my body. Does it try to get away? Does it look... No, just
Does not
sat there,
look
just
frightened at
chilling.
you. Yes.
Okay.
Very friendly for a toad. Well, you know about friendly, but very unresponsive other than just croaking and looking at you sadly.
Yeah. Pretty, like, almost like stunned, if I had to say anything else.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. As I've spent most of my life in woods and forests and stuff like that and swamplands, do I recognize this as a specific type of toad, or is this just
I will ask you to make a survival check for me, please.
very well.
Survival, which I believe is based off of... I think it was wits for Reginald.
Wits.
But let me double check.
And I don't think... Let me just double check. I don't think I have that. No, I don't have a focus in that. So it's 3d6 plus wits, yes?
I might be mistaken, but I've got survival down as insight,
insight,
for me.
that's right. And that's
That's
what I
cool,
would
that's
use.
the
It'd be
same.
either insight or metal. So this would be insight. So it would be survival, insight.
I'd prefer insight because my metal is lower.
No, it would be insight.
Okay, cool. I'll make an insight check. And 17.
Okay. So no, it does not look like any specific toad. It looks very much like a kind of generic toad. In fact, it's a little odd because it strikes you as like if someone was like, make a toad, this is what you would get. Like, here's a toad. Here's all the parts of a toad. Here's all the qualities of a toad, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't have any particular markings or warty features that would make it a particular kind of toad. It's just a toad.
I'm going to pick obviously I'm holding the toad. Is there anything with the hat other than the journal?
Nope, just this bundle of clothes and the hat. The only other thing in the room is this, closed wooden chest that I mentioned before.
Okay, yep.
And
Yep, going to get to that in a second.
But yes, that there is, other than that, just the journal.
Okay, so I'm going to pick up the hat as well, and I'm going to put the journal in the hat so I can carry both things at once.
Okay.
And then I'm going to move over to the chest.
If I don't hear from Ashflower soon, I'll get like very impatient
I
and
was
start
waiting
like
to see when the
flitting,
rest of the crew was
like
going to
flitting
come out.
between Reginald and Miri. Like, he's been in there for hours. He's been in there for hours.
He's been in there for like 3 minutes.
I was going to say it's been like 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Is anything going on outside while this is going on? I'm just sort of looking
It's
around
me.
interestedly.
Just the wind.
You
and
flying
the,
around.
Yeah, I was going to say just the wind and then a very impatient sprite buzzing around your ears.
That's fine. The only thing I want to know is the chest locked?
The chest is indeed locked.
It is indeed locked. Okay, cool. I'm going to leave the chest alone.
I was hoping for you'll have to touch it to find out.
Yeah,
You'll find out by
that.
touching
I-
it. Yeah.
I touched
Electrified
the chest. I touched the chest with the toad.
The toad takes a million. No.
Yeah. And now the toad is no longer a problem. Okay. So in the rest of the room is nothing, basically, correct? But you've nothing obvious.
Right. Other than what I mentioned.
Okay, cool.
before.
I will leave the hut with the toad and the hat and the journal, because it is dark in this hut, and I'm not a fan. And I will go back to the party. How's the toad as I'm walking back?
It seems kind of the croaking sounds almost mournful, like.
Okay.
It looks very like it's very much the feels
use-
bad man of toads. I would
Yep.
say.
So I'm holding it in one hand, right? For visual, I'm using my actual hands for physical representation here. Holding it in one hand as I walk. I've got the book and the hat under my arm, and I'm just stroking its head very slightly to try and soothe it. I'm
Okay.
like, it's gonna be okay. Whatever's happened, it's gonna be okay, friend.
And
I
you
will
all
head back to
hear
the team.
the sound of as Ashflower emerges from the hut and is walking towards you. You hear a croaking sound getting louder.
Sound? It wasn't
So-
snoring.
Somebody mentioned a toad.
Oh,
And I
when
look
you
at-
got
I look at
toaded.
Muriel.
I look at Reginald and Muriel. I'm going to share some really good life wisdom with you right now. If you start licking the toad, run.
I don't know what the king of the toads is.
Licking the toads.
Oh, licking the toad. I thought you said the
If you
king of
lick
the
the-
toads.
No, if he starts licking the toad, run.
No. I'm not the
Yes.
biggest fan of hallucinogens, I've got to admit. I have wild enough dreams as it is of magic and the ether and the great portal and everything in between. So I'm not going to start licking toads. Not again, anyway. So I think something may have happened to our friend here. I stroke the toad's head
Oh.
again to try and calm it. I found this in the hut underneath this hat. What does the hat look like, by the way?
It is a very ostentatious, bright purple and pointed hat. It looks utterly
Stars and moons and
ridiculous,
everything.
Although,
I like that hat.
or utterly fabulous. I mean, like, let's be clear. Like,
That's a really good hat.
So I found this toad under this hat with this journal next to it. I haven't read the journal yet. So That's a. I think. Wait, I'm assuming the term toadening has been thrown around a bit. Is this like a proper table talk now in the Talisman world? Is this like as commonplace as like poison in other adventure games? Like you got turned into. Is this like Final Fantasy world?
You're
like,
more likely to get
you are
toaded
turned
than
into a
poisoned
toad.
in Talisman.
Right.
Right.
That's totally fine. So I'll know what being toaded is, right? As a character, I should know what that is. Right?
I would think
Okay.
so, yes. Although
Okay,
it
if
is,
it's
it is
reasonably
important that there are
commonplace.
real toads, they're not all turned from
Yeah.
other creatures. to be
Not
clear.
every toad.
In fact, there are some
not every
stories
toad is the.
of people trying to turn like actual toads back, just like, why don't you turn back? And the toads being like,
Because I'm an actual toad, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm an actual toad. I was born this way. So I think this may have been a person at some point, potentially the owner of this fanciful hat. And I could do with maybe somebody reading this book to find out who this person is.
I
because
think
I'm
we
not-
should ask
I'm
first.
not-
Should,
I'm not quite
excuse
sure
me,
if we
Mr.
should
Toad.
Her
Excuse.
eight,
Do you mind if we read your book?
her eight, her eight, her eight.
Okay, it's fine.
Any flicker of difference?
No, her eight.
No, excellent. Oh,
Okay.
there's a locked chest in there as well. I don't know what's in it.
Her eight.
Yeah, I don't know either.
That's all I could see though. So there's a book, a hat, a toad, and a chest.
Okay. Well,
Huts
you can
are
read.
weird, man.
You can read the book. I'll go have a look into
Okay.
in the hut.
I am going to put the toad on my shoulder. And I'm going to see. I'm going to do that thing like, if you have like a gerbil or a hamster where you're just like, you put them down for a second, but you kind of put like cage fingers over them. So like if they run, you could like grab them for a second. But like if they're okay there, you're like, okay, you're okay there. You're okay.
Her
You
eight.
know, like I've done that with a toad. Does it jump off as soon as I take my hand away?
Nope, just her eight.
Okay, so it's
Her eight.
okay. With the other hand, I'll just be like, "Don't worry, we're gonna get through this." The journal, just a normal book.
The journal, no, it is
Wait,
a
what?
large-size leather-bound journal.
Oh, right,
and,
okay.
Looks somewhat old. I mean, not ancient, but looks well worn and well used.
Cool. I crack open the journal and start reading.
So when you open the journal, the thing that you note is it is filled with seemingly, at least it looks like this way, frantic scribbling that at first is difficult to decipher. And in fact, I'm going to need you to do that. If you can make a decipher check for me, or I would take lore, which would be wits, test, you might be able to gather some information from it.
I will do a wits test. That's a 14.
That is a 14. That is
14.
actually just enough. As you are going through and trying to figure this out, it looks like the person or whoever's writing this down was thinking about a possible way of increasing the range of divination spells, sort of spells that determine seeing into the future, determining where different people are in the world, things like that. Usually a spell like this is limited to about 50 kilometers or so, but apparently whoever this is writing was trying to do something different. But the final notation at the end of it, and again, this is like reading, to jump out of game for a moment, like doctor's handwriting, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, what is this word? At the very end of it, you see the final notation reads, if spell backfires, we'll need wild amaranth root for reversal. And right next to that is what looks like a simple, crude map that is got basically, you think it's an H over a house, right? And then some distance away, you see what is written like a bunch of scribbling, and then A with an arrow pointing to the scribble in this map.
How far away does this look?
Roughly, if you had to guess, I mean, it's hard to figure to scale, but maybe like half a kilometer.
Okay.
You know that because on the map it actually shows you how close the forest is supposedly to this place. So if they did it to scale, then it would be roughly about half the distance to the forest is how distant the hut is from this place.
Okay, as this is a pretty chunky journal, I'm guessing I didn't just flick through this immediately. So as I'm reading this and discovering this, I'm going to let the rest of the party discover what they want to do.
I was going to come to that as well. What is Regina and Reginald and Muriel? What are you doing as Ashflower's reading this while the toad is mournfully croaking?
I'm looking
can-
over his shoulder, trying to read it too.
Okay. You do the same. Muriel,
I
go
share,
ahead and
by
make
the
that
way.
test for
I'm
me
like, as
well.
soon as I notice that.
Decipher or a lore, which is based on wits test.
They will only be able to test lore if they have lore, I think.
Right, which would be
Laws are specifically tagged skill. I've just got the skills table open at the moment because I was updating my character sheet. Yeah,
Right.
laws tagged as if you don't have it, you can't test against it. But the others
I do
you can
have
do.
lore.
Okay.
I'm a lore keeper.
I
Yeah.
see. I do not have law, so that would probably
Oh,
mean
my
I
bad
wouldn't know what they said.
Then forget I said anything.
Yeah. But
So that's a 15. Well, Muriel
Muriel-
said this to you and
Yeah.
told you, Ash, this
Yeah,
is
I
the
told
deal.
you all the things.
Yeah, my
just
fault. I
now.
didn't realize that.
Nice.
So yes. So Muriel, you tell this to Ashflower, presumably. Yeah.
So just out of character a second, just for some table talk moments. If I don't have a skill in something, can I not roll against that? So law,
There's-
for example.
There's a handful of specific ones where you can't even do an unskilled check against it if you don't have that skill. So I've got here artisan, heal, law, sleight of hand, spell casting, and tinker. You have to have that skill.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Yep. And I see the check as well. Unless your character knows that skill, yes.
Cool.
So lore would not work. You could have, however, done decipher. So you could have actually still done a wits check even if you didn't have decipher. Technically.
Oh, okay. But I can do an unskilled check on decipher, which is 3d6 plus wits.
That's correct. Actually, not even
Okay.
wits.
No, no,
If
it's
you don't
only
have the proper
3d6.
skill, it means you just roll 3d6.
Oh, it's only 3d6.
Only
Right.
3d6.
Okay. So then I would have gotten a 11, so I probably wouldn't have
You
been
would
able to
not have
decipher
figured
it.
it out.
Yep.
So
But-
it's
But fortunately, Muriel is here. The lawkeeper is here.
so it's actually the same with like also with melee. Like if you have this, if you don't have the skill 3d6, if you have the skill 3d6 plus the ability that is below that is
Mhm.
underlying it, and if you have a focus, you get an additional plus two.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so Muriel is looking over and gives you that information. While she's doing that, Regina and Reginald, what about you two?
I'll go into the hut and look for plants, like potted plants.
Okay. There are no potted plants inside the hut. There is a pile of clothes. There is a rickety table. There is a bed and a chest near it. And there is a hearth, which is, blackened and cold. No one has obviously used this hearth for a while.
Is there anything that looks like a magic carpet?
No, I wouldn't say so. The only thing even vaguely fabric-like are the clothes, but they don't look carpety.
Okay, then I'll
Are
come
they a
outside.
common thing?
Then I go outside again, and I will ask for a summary of the book, so I don't have to read it.
It's the Cliff Notes. Okay, and I'll get back to that in a second. Reginald, what about you while this is happening?
Stick my head in the hut, but I'm waiting for things to happen right now.
Okay. All right. So then, you see what I described previously. Other than that, Regina, when you come out and sort of like tell me what the book says, Muriel, you can inform them of the contents.
And I do. And also like mention that we should follow this to get to the amaranth thing that we need. We should maps. We should go there to fix the frog.
And what do we do with the amaranth then? Like put it into the frog?
I mean, I assume that the frog will know. Like if we find it and show the frog, then I mean, we don't have any right now, so he's just being a frog. But like after we get some, then he'll probably perk up a little, right?
Subway?
Okay, then let's make a perky frog.
Okay, so you were going to go up to try to find the this amaranth place following the map. It looks pretty
I
close.
think that's fair, yes.
All right, while they're making this travel, I'm going to stop for a moment and welcome everybody who is watching Pen and Pixels 273. This is Talisman Adventure, Death's Messenger. We are sponsored, as always, by Pegasus Spiele. Thank you, Pegasus Spiele, for providing physical books, which are coming to everybody else very soon as it gets out of the British/Utah vortex. And we are joined, as always, by Pyron Jade, by Darksaber2K, by Peripheral Mike, and by Tasty Chai. And so we hope you're enjoying it. If so, we hope you will support Pegasus Spiele and support Talisman, because this book really is awesome. And we hope also that you will support, of course, as always, GOG.com, which is kind enough to allow us to do these shenanigans several times a month here on this channel. Okay, so you don't even need a test to do this, because fortunately, being on some planes, it doesn't take you long before you're able to make your way over and actually find this field of what is supposed to be amaranth. But as you get closer, you start hearing something like munching and chewing sounds. And it's over, like, you see it, you hear it from a distance as you're getting close to where this thing is supposed to be, but you're on one side of a small rise, so you don't see anything yet. You just hear this. You hear Izzy's tardy. He's eating the lunch. You're welcome, Izzy's.
So something is chewing so loud that we can hear it before we see it.
Which is actually harmonizing with. And now I've lost it. I lost the croak. I was too busy doing it.
So something, I do get that right. Something is chewing so loudly that we can hear it, but we don't see it.
You hear, and then the croaking is coming from right next to you. The chewing is coming from in front of you.
It's coming from my shoulder.
Right.
So I'm just going to carry on. I'm going to ignore the noise.
Okay. Is everyone else
As far as I'm aware. Yeah,
I
as far as
didn't
I'm
dream
aware,
about that
we're just
particular noise, so here we go.
Regina, Reginald, you all good?
Can I tell what type of animal it is from the noise it's making?
What type of? I'm sorry. What is this?
What type of? Well, I assume it's an animal.
Let me have you make a survival check, please.
Okay.
While he's doing that, I just
Insight.
need to step away for a second.
Sure.
3d6 plus 2 then. Well, I got a 6 on the Kismet dice, but I only rolled a
Man.
12.
Yeah, you don't know. This is kind of a generic sort of munching. I mean, it's definitely animalistic. But you're not.
So is that a success?
It's not. It's not a success.
No, not even a regular one. Okay.
Right.
I look at Reginald. You hear that as well, right? The munching sound.
I do.
What is it?
Hungry.
Huh.
Possibly less hungry now, because it's eating.
Well, but if it's eating something here, it's going to be a plant eater. So no problem, right?
Unless there are dead goblins it's chewing on.
We didn't bring them with us, did we? We didn't bring. No, we didn't.
No, we left them there. They were
Yeah.
sick. Yeah.
We left him on guard.
Yeah, that's what we did. Okay, I would also like to make a survival check and see if Regina can figure out what the eating thing is.
Okay.
It's inside, right?
That is correct. It would be survival and then insight. Yeah.
I do have survival.
If you have survival, it's +2, right?
It's no, I don't have a focus. I only have the skill.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
You-
Okay.
It's a tired system, kind
Yes.
of.
Yeah, and there are some skills you can try and you'll get like nothing out of it. So if you had the skill, it means that you would get 3d6 plus you would add what the survival check was tied into, which in this case is insight. So you'd get that bonus to your
Okay, I
roll.
was making sure I was
And-
doing it right because
yeah.
I'm that's what I have
And
written
if you have
down,
a
but-
focus in a given area, then you would get another +2 if you were in that area. So +2 points. So
Doubles.
so we're looking at a 15
Doubles.
and doubles, yes. You do actually think you've run into something like this before, actually, Regina. These are the kinds of things that you sometimes see, but in the kind of the forest environment. And typically, you've seen these as these are some kind of like insect mandibles or kind of like bug or insect chewing.
What? I think this is an insect.
Yeah, a bug.
You
Pretty
know what
loud, so
I
it's probably
think?
a big bug.
You know what I think? I think it's locusts. I think it's locusts. I think it's an insect. That's what I think.
So do
It's
we
a hungry
avoid
locust.
it?
I don't know. Maybe we could just take the amaranth route and go away.
Did we find out what the noise was?
It's an
Locust.
insect, I say.
Yeah.
I claim it's an insect.
Do I see any amaranth around me?
You do not yet.
Do
Not
we know
yet.
what it looks like?
That's an excellent question.
Do
You
you?
just sneak up and grab the thing and then leave.
Yep. Let's do that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know in particular what it's going to look like until you don't see anything yet.
No, I mean the amaranth. Do we actually know what we're looking
Oh.
for beyond the name of it?
Yeah.
No, although you notice that the way that the way the drawing is done, it's done with these peculiar like spiky ends to like there's an A pointing to a bunch of scribbling, but if you look at the scribbling actually has like little spiky ends to the scribbling, which could either be because the person doesn't know what they're doing and they've lost their minds, or it could mean that it's actually referring to what the plant itself looks like, what the grass looks like.
And there's no spiky looking plants around us at the
Not
moment.
right where you are, no.
Okay.
But
I
again,
could
you're on
stealth
one side of
closer.
a rise. The other side of the rise is where this thing is coming from.
I could stealth closer. Insects and I usually get along really well.
If you wish to.
Okay. I'll fly low, like grass hide, and just stealthily bolt forward.
Okay. So that means that you're looking at an actual stealth check you'd like to do. I assume you don't have actually stealth.
Oh, I do have stealth. I'm small.
Oh, okay. Well, then there you go. Agility is what you're looking for here. Stealth agility. So you can make your stealth check.
Well,
It
Pierre
can happen,
rolls
Lone
these.
Wolf, I've heard.
Can you, with stealth, I was under the impression it needs to be, does it need to be a focus in something?
No.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the focus just gives you an added bonus on top of everything else.
I see.
So if you are unskilled in something, you just roll 3d6. If you're skilled in something, you roll 3d6 plus the attribute to which the
that was it.
skill is
Thank you.
connected.
Sorry.
And then
This
if
is
you're
gonna
focused in
this is
it,
gonna
it's
be
that plus that
completely
plus
eliminated
focus.
when we get the physical book.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
assure you.
No, for sure. Obviously, without Saber, I would have missed the fact that it was the one skill was a skill you couldn't actually do on your own. So
I was just going through because what I've done on my PDF is I've literally been adding all the bonuses to my skills.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we're looking
A
at
really good idea, actually.
14. Okay,
I need to
so
read
you're
my
like trying to buzz in, rigged for silent running. Like low. You all can kind of hear Regina a little bit, but Regina certainly seems like she's like being super like quiet. And as you sort of crest this rise, you go over this little hill, basically. You can see over this little hill. Give me just a moment. Oh, wait. Oh, it might be... See, I was about to say that I didn't have a picture of this thing, but I think I actually might have a picture of it. So bear with me just one second, and I'm going to see if I do have a picture of it. Otherwise, I'll just have to paint a picture with words and do the best I can with that. Let's see. That would be like this. Okay. Let's see if we do. Do we? We do not. Okay. All right. So that's fine. When you crest the rise of the hill and you're looking down upon it, you see below you these two what are clearly insects with golden brown shells and wings. These look like giant beetles to you, Regina. There are 2 of them, and they are very big. In fact, they're probably each one is bigger than the size of Boots, Reginald's dog. These are big beetles, and they are eating away at this patch of very different looking grass from the grass around it, which has these little spiky fronds at the end of it. And they are munching away with these strong mandibles. They're paying no
Okay.
attention to you at all.
Okay, do I get that this might be our stuff?
Well, I mean, it certainly is different than anything else that you've encountered thus far, in the terms of natural stuff. And it does look like the weird drawing that was inside the book.
Okay, they're clearly bigger than I am, which is not a problem, but still. I
Beetles seem to
buzz
like
back, just, like, still below the ground, close to the ground, then I buzz directly up in front of Ashflower's face. They are eating our stuff!
Said they was hungry.
Then we should stop them.
And I'm on my way back to the things.
I am also on my way back to the bugs.
Okay. All right. So when you come over the rise, you also can see what I have previously described down here, in terms of, whoops, what did I just do? I hit a button by accident. What I have previously described, which is these large bugs chewing away, and they've already actually eaten a decent portion of this patch of whatever this weird grass is that you see down below.
What does the grass look like?
It is a tall, spiky, fronded grass that actually looks faintly, almost purplish in hue. It's one of the reasons that it stands out from the grass around it. There's a lot of, waving like fronds of normal, long, tall grass that you would typically see on plains, some smaller scrub brush and stuff like that. But this stuff is purple, like faint purple, and looks very kind of thick and coarse, really, and has these kind of spiky, as I say, fronds at the top of each one of their stalks.
Is there enough grass for me to grab a small handful of it and try and distract the bugs with it?
Like regular
What I want to
grass?
try and do is
Or
no, like the amaranth. I assume this is
No,
amaranth.
It's down below you, down below the rise, and the bugs are in the middle of it. They are chewing away, so you're not close enough to grab it. I mean, you could run up to the bugs and grab some of the whatever it is and show it to them if you wish, but where you are right now, you're not in that patch. They are in the patch of whatever.
Okay. I would probably like to approach that patch and see if I can grab a bit to try and distract the bugs to make them move away from the grass.
Okay.
Basically what I want to do is I want to grab a handful of amaranth, kind of wave it at them a bit, and then throw it away from the amaranth. So they'll hopefully go and eat that bit of amaranth.
Are you going to try to not attract their notice as you walk up to the patch?
Well, I'm certainly going to try. I've got the skill. I may as well, right?
It's true.
So it is. Did you say it was agility?
Oh,
It's okay. I made a note. Stealth
should be.
check. Stealth check in wilderness. 3d6 plus 5. Got this. I mean, I might not have got this, but
Yeah.
I got a double. I forgot what that means.
It means that it's going to go from a success to a great success.
Yes.
Okay. So yes, you move up and they are so busy with they're just, and you see that they've now chewed down at least half of that patch that they're in. They are going to town on this stuff, kind of scuttling around and chewing with their strong mandibles this purplish grass. And so you're right on the edge now where you could actually grab some of this purplish grass.
Okay, I'm gonna grab a handful of the grass.
Okay. They're facing away from you, paying no attention to you at all.
Okay, I'm going to reevaluate my current position because this went much better than I thought it would, and I'm going to slowly retreat stealthily with the handful of grass.
Okay. You do that, they pay again 0 attention to you.
Okay, I'd like to rejoin Regina.
This is, by the way,
I look
this
with
is a pretty
Ashflower's
small...
a little bit disappointed. This is not exactly what I meant when I said attack,
One note, by the way, Rashflower, just so that we're clear, this does not seem like it's very, like, you aren't able to get much. Like, you can get a handful of it, but not enough that would be presumably able to be used to feed to anything. Just so you know, I didn't want to confuse.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, I go over to Regina and I say, I have some grass.
That is not even enough grass for me.
True.
How much do you think we need?
More. If you want to stuff a frog,
frog.
you need more. It's a
Why
toad.
are we stuffing a toad? I thought we just needed some to feed it.
I'm pretty sure if this is a magical thing, you look like this little kernels there. This is the actual amaranth stuff, and it's like only a little.
I have like one of those.
Also, we needed the roots, right?
Oh.
And you pluck the grass.
Oh.
I think
I don't do alchemy very often. I don't really know this thing. I just kind of throw the grass over my shoulder.
Okay, come on. Let's do this. I throw a spear at the bugs.
Okay. If we're going to do that, then what I'm going to ask folks to do is, remember this is a little different than rolling initiative, but it means we've got to stop this music. Thank you, Greenforge. And we're going to move into another kind of combat music. And I give to you some... There we go. Give to you some combat music as we are getting ready to go here. Okay. So, we do not have a... Let's see. I don't think we have a surprise situation, although I'm thinking about it. I'm going to ask you to make... you have the notice skill, Regina?
Notice. Yes.
Okay.
I also have the notice.
I'm going to ask you to make
skill.
a roll. We're going to have a test to see whether or not you're able to surprise with your spear attack.
On wits for senses or insight for intuition?
On wits. Notice wits.
Okay. That's bad.
That's right, Gregory.
Doubles and a 6 on the Kismet dice.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay, so first of all, you get another light fate, so that's good stuff. And you get a light fate, and you also succeed in that. So what that means is that so that is they are surprised. So
I made a mistake. Sorry, I think, let me check my skill again. Do I have actually... Oh, I don't have a focus. I did it wrong. So I did +2 that I don't have.
So you have
Sorry, +1.
So you're talking about a 15?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's fine. It's still enough. Then the big thing was the doubles there that mattered there to make it a great success. So that means that they are completely surprised, and that means that you will be able to make an attack upon them. So you're going to be able to make one of your attacks, Regina, with a +2 bonus to your test. Also, a standard success will become a great success. So that's what it means for them to be fully surprised. This is only going to apply to you. And then we're going to move into our regular sort of round of stuff. Hey, Shadow.
Okay,
Try to
let's
resolve
see.
this stuff, bless you.
Okay, so this is my javelin ranged attack, which goes over agility. So let's see. Let's get all of this correct. It's 1d6 +4 for agility, plus another +2 because I've got the focus, plus another +2 because what you just said, right?
Right. Because
Okay.
I already said yes.
Still 17.
Okay. So we have a 17. We have no doubles. That's +8. Good God. Okay. So that is a success, but because they were completely surprised, as I said, that means that your standard success goes up to being a great success. So because you had a great success, that means that you inflict full damage on your target. Your opponent does not get an action other than to accept being hit. So that means that you are going to do full damage to this.
Hey. So my weapon damage is 1d6.
Yep.
Plus, is there a plus something? Because this is only the base damage. I try to remember. What is the plus?
Well, you would have, let's see.
Which adds your physical damage. Plus my physical damage modifier. Okay. So my physical damage modifier is 4. So it's 1d6 plus 4.
Okay, that's on
I
ranged
guess.
also. You have that? I'm sorry to hear that, Chad.
That is the ranged. It would be more in melee.
Oh, okay. And also hi, Mrs. Dunson. Okay.
So do I get another bonus somewhere? Because 1d6 plus 4 doesn't sound like.
Well, for damage on a javelin thrown by a sprite, I think 1d6 plus 4 is fairly significant.
Okay.
I would
Then
say.
it's 1d6 plus 4, and I do maximum damage, so it's 10.
Okay. So, no, that's not what full damage
Nope.
means.
Oh.
Full damage means that you are able to hit it, so you're able to roll and actually do damage to it.
1d6 plus 4.
yeah.
Okay. 6.
Okay. Your javelin throws out, and you're like, and you watch as it goes doink off the hard shell of the beetle, and the beetle goes and then turns around to face you. Like the javelin literally just bounces off. Apparently the beetle, and you may remember a little bit of this, Regina, is got a really, really hard shell.
This did not go as planned. Just letting all of you know.
And now we're going to actually get a chance to do our regular combat. So what we're going to do here is we're starting with no other surprise position other than the attack that Regina just made. So we're going to have the position of players arranged first. So obviously all of you are available to be engaged in combat. So you can move freely up to your speed to engage an enemy or to move into another location, or you can stay, where you are and where you're positioned. So, and then you get to decide what order you want to do things in, remember. So who wants to go where in terms of their position, and then we'll decide who goes in what order. So Regina, do you want to get up close and personal, for example, or stay back and, chuck again, or what do you want to do?
I want to chuck again.
Okay.
I absolutely definitely want to chuck again, but I guess I don't get the additional +2 this time, right?
That is true.
So it's 1d6 plus 6 then.
So, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'll hold. I'll hold.
What about you, Reginald?
I'm gonna stay at ranged.
Okay.
As for when I go, I'm kind of easy. I'll see what the others want to do first.
Okay.
I'm quite happy to go last right now.
Ashflower, where do you want to go?
Is there a way I can sneak around or to the flank of one of these bugs?
I think you could probably do that, although at the moment one bug is looking one way. Well, they'll probably sort of scuttle into position. Yes, I would think you probably could try to stealth around because there's only 2 of them. You will be exposing yourself if it turns out this fails, but but you can do that if you want. Yes. Also,
Yes, I'd like
the
to.
other thing is too, Ashflower, to get to the other side of them, it's going to take you 2 turns to do that. 'Cause you got to stealth around. You can't run, right? So you're going to have to So yeah.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay. So we'll deal with you in just a moment. And last, Muriel, are you going to get up close and personal, stay back?
Not up close and personal, but close enough to cast a spell. It doesn't have a range on it, however.
Okay.
So I don't know how close that is.
What is said spell?
Sleep?
Let's see. Sleep. Wait, what? Why is it not showing me? Where are you finding sleep?
Page 129 of the PDF. Let's see, what's the real page?
I got
of
it.
that? Oh, it's
I got
page
it.
129. Okay.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. Okay. So you could dull the mind of an enemy. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, it just says choose an enemy you can see. So you can definitely see these creatures. So I think you could definitely choose one of them. Yep.
Yeah, the one nearest us, I would attempt sleep.
Okay. Maybe the one that just scuttled around after Regina's
Yeah, I think
spear
that one.
bounced off it, or javelin.
Yeah.
Okay. So who wants to go in what order? Do you want, now that you know what everybody's doing?
I would like to craft some armor first, maybe. I can do that. I have a skill for that.
I'm going to wait till after the sleep spell because I'd like to target the one that's still awake, assuming it works.
I will also wait until after the sleep spell because I would like to sneak around the one that may or may not be sleeping.
So it sounds like we're looking at Regina, then Muriel Sleep, then Reginald and Ashflower in some order. If I got that right.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Okay, so Regina, you're
Yeah,
going to do
James.
this first. So you're going to try to do what did you just say about crushing armor?
If I get a standard success, then I can trigger my Mighty Blow ability. Well, if standard success or better, and I can spend the light fate I just got
Okay.
to reduce the armor points of my enemy by 1/2 of my strength before resolving damage.
Ah, okay. Can you do that on range?
It did specify. I copied it over, but I can try to.
I gotta look again because I'm like, I don't get me wrong. I'm sure that there's a powerful amount of stuff, but like
Should be in the warrior section.
right. Let's see. No. Thank you so much for the follow, Chris. Welcome.
Page 84.
Page 84.
It just says attack.
Mighty blow, skill to breaking through. When you form a standard success or better on an attack test. Yeah. Okay, because you're breaking through the armor. Okay. That's
but I
reasonable,
need
and you're
to-
going to need to do that because this thing is, as you can tell, rather armored. So you could do that.
So that's what I'm hoping for, a standard success with
Okay.
my thing. That would be
Alright,
wonderful.
Go ahead and make your ranged attack here.
Oh wait,
am
that was
going
the
to-
wrong.
I am before
that
you
was
do
wrong.
that. Oh no, I'm actually no, I'm not. Never mind. I'm
No,
gonna
that was
save my
wrong.
dark
Sorry.
fate. It's okay. I'm gonna save my dark fate.
3d6 plus 4 plus 2. Okay, got it. Doubles.
Alright, we got doubles, and we've got a 15.
So if it's a standard success, then a mighty blow would follow.
It is a standard success, which means mighty blow. So you're going to spend one of your light fate, right?
Yes, I'm gonna spend one of my light fate to reduce the armor points of my enemy by 2.
Okay. So by 2. Okay.
Yes, that is before resolving damage. So in case this already breaks the armor, I can now do damage. If not, then I've at least reduced the armor.
Right. Okay. So now we have to see how much damage you actually do because you've hit it. Now the question is, how much damage are you going to do to it?
That would be 1d6 plus 4 again. 8.
It once again bounces off, even with your armor reduction.
Okay, but I've reduced it by 2 points, so that's something.
Yeah, does it stay that way, by the way? So it stays
Yes,
broken?
I just I broke the armor.
Okay, good to know.
At
okay.
least that's how I understood the thing. Yep, reduces. Yep.
Sounds right.
It's also by 1/2 your 1/2 your strength ground down before.
Yeah, that's
resolving
yeah.
damage.
I've got 4 strength, so 2 points.
Yeah, I think this is correct. I think you're right. I do think it lasts that long. So so that means 10, and I guess you could do it again and next time and use another light fate to drop it even further if you wanted. Okay, so you see a little crack in its armor. It seems very angry for a beetle. And okay, that is going to lead us to, I believe Muriel was going to be next with sleep.
Yes. So that's just a standard 3d6 roll, right? Or do I add to it?
I believe on spellcasting you are going to be adding to it. So
That's
let
what I'm
me.
looking for. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. That's spellcasting is 59 number 2. Right. So
Oh no, I have a note here that says spells are 3d6 only. Unless you can find something
There's a
else.
spellcasting skill which should let you add something. If you've
Right.
got the spellcasting skill.
that's the thing that I wanted to see.
I do have a spellcasting skill.
Yeah, because I've got spellcasting. My note says it's plus resolve for me, but that might be because I'm nature focused.
Yeah, the type of spell involved determines the aspect used in spellcasting. So this is an arcane spell, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that right, Muriel? I think sleep.
Yeah, it is. It's arcane
arcane.
or mystic.
Which means we're looking at wits. Oh, okay. Or mystic. So then for you, it would probably be mystic, which means insight.
Okay, cool.
Which
So
would mean that
then-
you would then roll 3d6. And then
Plus insight.
you would roll, right, exactly, plus insight. And if you were focused in Mystic, you would then add an additional +2. Well, damn. All right.
There we go.
So that is definitely, so you get a light fate, first of all. And 22, yes, that is definitely more than enough. Okay, so give yourself that extra light fate here. So you are now at 2 light fate. Okay, now this creature that you did this on is now asleep. So you see it's like, it just sort of stops moving. And the other one walks forward. So, yeah, Shadowed, the overlay. That's true, Shadowed. You haven't been here since do this. This overlay is from Shadowed Mage. And as you can see, did an awesome job with it. The overlay looks great.
Excellent work.
So thank you, Shadowed
Yeah,
Mage.
thanks, Shadow
Excellent
Mage.
work.
Good
Yeah,
stuff.
thank you.
Okay. So, all right. So one is asleep, Muriel. Well done. And that's going to lead us to Reginald and Ashflower, who get to decide what order they would like to go in. So one is asleep, and the other one is...
And the one that's awake, I'm going to throw a lightning bolt at it.
So you want to wait on that, Ashflower, or do you want to do...
Yes, yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna wait until Reginald goes because I'm gonna be focusing more on sneaking around.
Okay. So remind me what I'm rolling here again. Still haven't got the hang of this. So spellcaster with nature, I've got that as a +5 from my resolve, and then a +2 for my nature focus.
Okay, I'm going to spend a dark fate here to up the threat on this creature.
I'm going to spend a light fate to get a bonus die.
Well, I'm going to double your... No. So let's see.
No, that's fine. You guys, you spend all of
Let
your
it out amongst
fate.
yourselves.
Like,
Anti
you
up.
go doing- this is a fate arms race.
Okay, let's see.
Okay. So again, let me set this up. 3d6 plus 7. And then I'll get roll my bonus die after this. Well, it's a good job I did that. Okay, let me roll the extra d6.
So we're looking at right now a 13 plus 2.
Well, I'll swap that out for the doubles at least. So it'll be a 3, a 2, and a 2.
Hold on
for 14.
1 second.
I don't know if anybody's watched our stream of him setting up his desk on like the house tour, but like literally where his camera is where the staircase is. So I just imagine he's just like, "What? What do you want?" Like down the stairs to his family.
I have this thing like when I tell one of my children like, okay, go get your brother, dinner is ready or something like that. They're like, we meet and like at the bottom of the staircase, and I'm like, oh, could you just get your brother, dinner is ready? And they're like, hey, just shout upstairs.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could have done that myself.
Yeah,
That is
exactly.
literally my whole family.
Yeah, that's pretty much my upbringing.
Yeah, like,
Go get your brother.
I shouted myself.
Yeah, pretty much. Right, I need to know my skills. What page are my skills on this goddamn impenetrable PDF? I really cannot wait for that. Do you know what? When the actual book turns up, I might actually read all of the rules rather than just the ones that pertain to me. Who knows?
I'm gonna make a flow chart as soon as I have a proper program for this because
Okay,
I
need
actually
to-
like this tire system.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I just need to take 2 seconds to go grab something and text my wife about a child pickup
Okay.
issue. So give me 2 seconds.
Yeah,
hang
that's
tight.
fine.
Feel free to hear from the lovely people here.
I'm pretty sure I failed to hit with a 14 anyway.
Excellent.
But I am fully stocked on light fate, and it is spend it or lose it because if you've got 3 at the end of the session, you've lost 2 because the rules specifically say you start with 1 light fate in each session.
I did wonder that. I was like, so did Arv have like 4 dark fate to start with?
Yeah, he gets
But
1 per player.
His stack, but ours don't.
We stack up to 3.
Okay.
Yep.
I
But
don't
you
know how it
start
works
with-
for him with how many you can use, but you can only use 1 to modify a dice roll as well.
So if I had one last time and didn't use it, I mean, I did use it, but if I didn't use it and then start the next session, would I still
Nope.
have 1?
You've wasted
Only
one,
one.
basically.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Oh man, I
What?
had one last
If you end
time.
a session with
That
0,
sucks.
you start the next session with 1. If you end a session with 3, you start your next session with 1.
Oh, rude! I had 2 last time. I
That's
should.
At least
inconceivable.
that's how I've interpreted it, because it specifically says players start each session with 1 light fate.
I did.
Oh my lord.
You know,
That's
that is really
awful.
specific. Darn
I'm
it.
not sure if
Very
it was.
specific.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was the best tactic that now the beetle that I've actually cracked a little bit is sleeping.
Well, if it's cracked a little bit, that means it's got a soft spot for me to stab.
Yeah.
It is asleep.
That's my. Yeah,
So-
and it's
Yeah,
it's not
asleep,
running
so
away.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna get an extra bit of damage.
I was gonna try and sleep the other one so we could just like scuttle around this.
I never thought we could have just like seen if there was any other patch of amaranth around.
Nah,
Like, I wonder if that was a thing.
I don't think Regina thinks that's a thing.
But
No,
we're
this-
also
this-
we're also
this-
risking by the time we finish looking, there is now no amaranth.
That's
You know-
very true.
this is all intelligent thinking. I have no part of this.
Spells. Where are spells? Spells. I need to
I'm
make. I
also
need to
pretty
redo my character
Re-
sheet desperately.
Regina is also pretty sure that these are locusts because they eat the corn. So they eat the grain.
He hasn't said they
they're
have wings
insects.
though.
Regina doesn't know that locusts aren't beetles, so these are locusts.
Oh, I see.
So as I'm reading it here, yeah, so it says basically you can spend a light fate, 1 per any given opportunity. So you could potentially spend all 3 in one go by modifying your dice roll, then activating a special ability, and then activating a special quality. So you could burn through all 3 in a single roll if you wanted to.
I will definitely burn another one.
Well, I think I've just wasted one, but got me.
The wonderful thing is I can wait whether it's a success or not and then decide I want to use Mighty Blow. That's really nice.
Yeah. So what I could have done instead of getting the extra dice is I could have waited to re-roll. Well, it's technically what I did.
Are we, we have an audience right now, and that is,
Yeah,
Mike
this
is having the same thought that I just had.
Did you just read my chat message?
Yes, but this is not exactly the same thought because I think the audience already knows that there's going to be a campaign after
Storm
the
King's Thunder.
Storm King's Thunder.
Mhm.
Yep.
So I mean,
Yeah,
we could talk with chat about that a bit because we had done the
I
thinking.
reckon so. Yeah, I reckon so. And there's no DM to stop us, so.
Yeah.
I'm very,
So-
very excited about Ghost of Saltmarsh.
Yes,
I'm
we're,
not
so
gonna lie, because it's already been announced. Like Arv has announced it last week. I heard him say it. So
yes,
it's
we should
already out
repeat
there
it
in
for the
ether.
people who not there. So after Storm
Absolutely.
King Thunder, we're gonna play Ghost of Saltmarsh, which is kind of a coastal campaign, set, and we're gonna start again with level 1 characters.
Which I know you're super excited about.
Yeah, I love starting at level 1. But I have to admit that I do like building characters, but the reason I don't like level 1 is because I like playing Rangers, and Rangers are a bit underpowered, so they're really a pain in that level 1.
Super squishy. Super squishy.
So I'm actually currently torn between 3 character classes, which is the Paladin of the High Sea, with the Oath of the High Seas, which is a
It's a
rogue
good
with
choice.
rogue going swashbuckler, or a coastal ranger. So these
I
are
knew
my
someone would go with Swashbuckler. I absolutely knew someone would go with Swashbuckler, without a doubt.
might
I'm-
not be me.
Yeah, it might not be you. I kind of thought, well, as it's a coastal adventure, I kind of thought I wanted to make a character that wasn't like. I thought a lot of people would make characters that were on brand for coastal adventures, so like pirates and swashbucklers and rogues and all this sort of stuff. So I thought to myself, I want to play something a little bit out of my comfort zone. So I'm kind of torn between 2 characters at the moment. I'm torn between a Horizon Walker, which is in the Xanathar's Guide of Everything, and a Aberrant Mind Sorcerer, which is in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. And I'm leaning more towards the Aberrant Mind Sorcerer. So basically, just to loop you in, Arv, we're talking about the potential character creation
cool.
ideas that we've been having for Ghost of Saltmarsh. Basically, an Aberrant Mind Sorcerer is a sorcerer who has had something happen to them to give them additional psychic powers.
You want to tell
But
them
they
this,
don't
huh?
know.
I thought you could be all mysterious.
No, we just decided to talk about it. So we've
Pretty
all
chill.
we've
Have
all
you
had
heard-
several
Mike-
character ideas.
Mike's mind is going to be possessed by a squid, apparently.
It's going to be
Yeah,
aberrant.
basically.
Well, one thing we made clear was that like the guy that you ran into during Storm King's Thunder, right? The dude with the octopus pet.
Yeah.
But I was going to say yeah, but Mike and I sort of agreed that I am not a Cthulhu fan, and I do not like cosmic horror, with apologies to Saber and tentacles and stuff.
And to be fair, neither do I.
But I like other nautical stuff.
It's all right, but it's all right. But I think it's not that I'm going to avoid it. If I lean heavily into this character, it's not that I'm gonna go like, and now I summon the tentacles.
Right.
It's more like these are just like, think Jackie from the Darkness. Or like Eddie from Venom. Like, there's a parasite within this sorcerer and he doesn't know how to control it. He or she doesn't know how to control it, and it just comes out every now and then in like these dark tendrils, rather than being like, and suddenly Cthulhu. Because like, I don't mind doing that. I'll lean into that in the comic book sense, but like, that's been done to death a lot, right? I can't do that better than other people have done that. So there's no point. I'd rather do a spin on that. This is maybe a little bit darker, maybe a little bit more tragic, as Pyrian said previously.
Yeah.
You know,
No, this will
spin on
definitely be
that.
a bit of a darker campaign, I think, with limits. I don't, but it's going to be a little bit darker for sure. Yeah, my apologies. I was dealing with a child picking up issue, and who's picking up my daughter from Taekwondo. I like my daughter and prefer not for her to be lost forever to Taekwondo.
Yes.
Anyway, so we've arranged that. We're good. Sorry about that. So
beetles.
Yes, beetles. So the one was asleep. The second beetle, you were going to shoot a lightning bolt at it, Reginald, when last we spoke.
Yep.
Okay.
So I got a 14 with my extra dice, so I'm keeping the 2, dropping the 1.
That is not going to hit it. It would have hit it, but a certain obnoxious GM spent a dark fate recently to boost the threat of said creature. So that is the darkness of the fate. So as you sort of aim and fire, and your lightning bolt shoots across, makes this jagged dark space across the grass, and narrowly misses the beetle. You can smell burning grass there a little bit from the smell of it, the sulfurous, after effects of the lightning bolt, and the creature is like,
Don't burn it down.
and mandible chews at you. Okay. Let's see. So there's that. And then that's going to lead us to. So that's going to lead us to that. So, all right. So that's what you did, Reginald, and that's going to lead us, last but certainly not least, to Ashflower, who's trying to sneak around behind. So I'm going to ask you to make a stealth check, please, to see if you can escape the notice of this beetle. Although, frankly, the beetle at the moment is kind of more focused on the lightning bolt and narrowly missed it.
So that would be a 15 with a double.
Okay. Yeah, that is.
Ka-ching!
I would say that is. Let me just double check and see.
Ashflower disappears
Right,
into
exactly.
the short grass, so you're not quite sure how he's done that.
If it beats the threat number. Now, the thing I need to double check is whether the Dark Fate spending lasts for the entire turn or just through that one situation. So I need to check that very quickly. Right. Okay. So, let's see. Okay. Yeah, it'd be the whole round. And so that means that. Okay. So that means that as you're sneaking around, Ashflower, the beetle is like, and like rotates. So it's like looking at you.
The one that's asleep?
No, not the sleeping one.
Oh,
they're
right,
both in
okay.
a patch of grass. I don't know if you're trying to
Right,
get around
okay.
either one of them, but I assume you're trying to get around both. No, the sleeping one is definitely still asleep. It is.
Yeah,
definitely not paying attention.
I was definitely approaching the one that was sleeping, or the one that was going to have the sleeping spell cast upon it. But if the other one is noticing me, that's fine.
Yeah, that would be the case. Yes. So you definitely successfully stealth around the sleeping beetle, but the other one unfortunately notices you for whatever that means. Okay, that's going to lead us then to the next round, and I think The only one that is there that has not been engaged is that other one that you aimed the lightning at, so you are not going to get a chance for Okay, so that means that the beetle is going to get its chance, and it is going to scuttle forward. Now, having seen Ashflower, it is going to scuttle towards Ashflower. So it scuttles out of the patch of weird-looking grass and scuttles towards you. It's not quite to you, so it just gets to you, and then it's like, and like waves its mandibles, opens and closes them threateningly at you, Ashflower. So that means next round it would be able to engage you and attack you, or you could engage and attack it, depending on how you want to go, which brings us up to the next round. So, what do the four of you want to do? What order would you like to do them? Regina, do you want to? You broke the armor on the sleeping one before it went asleep. You could try to do that again on the one that's not sleeping, or the one that is, or attack, or it's up to you.
I only have one spear left.
Okay.
So I'm not going to throw that last one because that would be stupid. So I would like to two-handed stab that one.
Okay.
The not sleeping one.
The not sleeping one. Okay, so you're going to
Like
fly
spear
up to it. Okay, that's fine. So you're going to fly up to it. You're going to be attacking it. Okay, Reginald, what are you going to be doing this round?
Saber is thinking.
Sorry, I was distracted by messaging. Right,
Okay.
yes.
Reginald, what about
Yeah, sorry about
what are you going
That's
to be
all right.
doing this round? So Regina is going to be melee attacking it.
Yeah, well, I'm going to stay ranged and cast a spell. Quite happy going last again on this one.
Okay. Ashflower, you're going to continue. Now, you've got this beetle scuttling towards you. Are you going to engage it or try to avoid it and keep stealth, getting around the other thing?
Right, so if I have a bonus to unsuspecting enemies, hypothetically speaking, of course, would the sleeping beetle be an unsuspecting enemy?
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
Deeply
cool.
unsuspecting.
Excellent. So I'm going to try and avoid the awake beetle and approach the sleeping beetle.
Okay. And that will be affected somewhat by what other people do. So presumably you're going to want to wait till later in the
Yes.
round, then I would guess?
Yes,
Okay.
pretty much, yeah.
Do you know how long, Muriel, by the way, your sleep spell lasts? I can look it up again, but
It's equal to my craft, which is 5, so 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes or rounds?
Said minutes, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check.
Okay. Because 5 minutes basically means the rest of the fight, which is fine. But I just want to know.
Yeah, that's what it says. Enters a deep slumber for a number of minutes equal to your craft. So
Alrighty
5
then.
minutes.
That's going to be, it's down for the count. Unless the other beetle, and I quote, shakes it awake, which, beetles are
Which
not
it
very
can
good
do.
at. Beetles are not very good at tactical,
Nudge it with the back leg.
Bob, what are you, Bob? Come on, Bob. This is embarrassing, Bob. So, okay, Muriel, what would you like to do in this round?
I'd like to sleep the other one.
Okay. Can you do that? You have enough
Yeah.
mana to be able to do that? All right.
For the win.
So you'll be able to sleep it. So do you want to do the same order, which was Regina melee attack, Muriel sleeps, Reginald and Ashflower figure out what order they want to go? Is that what you want to do, or do you want Muriel's sleep to go off first?
No, I would say sleep goes last.
I'm inclined to say let Regina go first, because there's a good chance she'll hit it after it's been put to sleep anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. By the way, is it Regina or Regina? Am I saying it wrong?
How do I know?
I think it's Regina. Is how
Well, how do you
we
say it?
pronounce
Because it's
Regina.
your name.
Well, if I would pronounce it in German, I would say Regina. So Regina, I think it's more natural for me.
See, I'm more
Okay,
naturally
Regina.
German. That's what parents say. Regina. Okay. Okay. I can also try to remember Regina. I've got Augusta, Regina. I should be able to do that. All right. So Regina is going to be going first, then Muriel, and then Reginald and Ash, I think. So if Regina is okay with that, and assuming that she is, Regina, you can then make your attack. So let's see. Do I want to spend I think I'm going to spend another Dark Fate on this thing to boost it by a certain amount. And
Yep.
okay, not as impressive as last time, but
And if I do a standard success, I would like to use Mighty Blow again.
okay. Sounds good. So you're going to use your
So-
last Light Fate to do that?
Yes.
Okay. Just your final Light Fate. You're zeroed out. No more Light Fate. Just joking.
let's see what this roll gives me.
Okay.
So it's again 3d6 plus 6 for the attack, if I get it right.
Okay.
There we
All
go,
right,
17
have
with
doubles
doubles.
and 17. And fortunately for you, the Dark Fate boost was not as big this time as last time. So that does hit, which means you can now, it's a standard success, which means you can up it to a great success, which means, or rather, sorry, it means that on the standard success you can mighty blow it, I believe is what you
Yes.
said. So you can
And
mighty
as
blow
this
it.
is, as I'm now using a two-handed weapon, two-handed, this is now going to be like lots of damage.
Okay, that's what I like to
Because
hear.
that's the fun.
Okay.
At least if I rolled a little bit better, but still 11.
And you were breaking the armor on, this is on the non-asleep one, right?
Yes, that is the non-asleep one.
Okay, right. Because the sleep was, so this is the first time you're breaking the armor on the non-asleep.
Yes.
To be clear. Okay. All right. So, right. Okay. So you were going to successfully do that. That actually is, so let's see, your armor is going to break. You dropped the armor by 2.
By 2.
So that means it actually takes damage, believe it or not. It is going to take damage this time.
Right.
Okay. So it takes not much, but you do pierce through its armor.
Wonderful.
Yeah. You're going to laugh.
If
when
it
I tell
runs
you what
away,
the
I'll
sound
try
was.
to ride it.
Yeah, that's impressive. Good stuff. Okay, Regina has done that. Now Muriel is going to try to sleep the other one.
No, this one.
Oh, sorry.
other
I
one
beg
is
your
already
pardon. I beg your
sleeping.
pardon. The one that's not currently not asleep is the one you're going to sleep. All right.
Okay, I got an 18.
All right. So an 18, and that is going to be enough. So it also, that may make the rest of this fight a little more trivial. Okay. So you have done that. So you have now slept both of them. Okay, that means that Reginald and Ashflower, you have somewhat free reign to decide how you want to handle this.
I'm going to head over to the amaranth and start gathering it.
Okay. All right, makes sense. You're like, time to go get some. Ash, what are you going to do?
They're not threats.
That's true.
I'm not here. I'm a
funnily
druid.
enough-
I don't do pointless killing.
No, funnily enough, I'm going to do exactly the same thing.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would say at this point, if the party agrees with that, I think it depends on whether Regina's going to be like, attack again! Like, it depends on what Regina wants to do, but otherwise, if you want, they're asleep, you could grab it and then leave. I mean, if they're going to be asleep for 5 minutes, you could certainly do that, if you wish.
If nobody stops me, I'm gonna score it again.
Please
no
don't do that.
threats.
Wake it up.
I just lean
We
down.
attacked
and,
them.
like,
They didn't attack us.
I just lean down and pet the beetle that's asleep, but without touching it. I'm like a half an inch above it. I'm just like,
Oh, lovely beetle.
Yeah,
Regina's
everything.
like, ah!
it's one of the creatures. It's one of the forest's many creatures. It's a passive friend.
It's a what? A passive friend?
A passive friend. Sometimes
Passive
they're
friend?
aggressive. Sometimes they're not.
Regina, with the concentrated look of somebody who heard something in a pub when it was really late. If somebody attacks your property, you're allowed to defend it with weapons.
I agree with that. But
The
you
amaranth's
attacked-
not your property.
Then
You
you should
attacked
take
this-
it.
You attacked this beetle.
Yes, because it was eating Reginald's amaranth.
It's not Reginald's amaranth. It's
It was the
nature's amaranth.
forest's amaranth.
If
Yeah.
it wasn't Reginald's amaranth, he wouldn't be allowed to take it.
The
No, we
forest
can
provides.
We can harvest from the forest, but you did attack the beetle. Anyway,
We're taking the
just-
amaranth from
There
the
is
no-
forest. We
There
are
is
not
no
taking
forest
the
here.
beetles.
There
I
is
start pulling the amaranth up by the root.
forest has trees. There are no trees here.
Wilderness, then. Nature.
Nature provides. But there must be balance.
These creatures are no threat to us now. There's no need to end their life.
I look at Muriel. Do you think they will wake up if I try to flip them on their back?
Another creature can awaken the target by shaking it vigorously. Yes, they will definitely wake up. But
I
you
go
can,
with-
you can glower at them. I think that would be very effective. Yes.
I'll pick up my javelins first, and then I'll glower.
Okay.
You've taught them to take you seriously. They will not
Yes.
forget the lesson.
Yes.
Perhaps you could stand watch over them in case they wake up, and then skewer them if they're still a threat.
So if they move, I'm allowed to skewer them.
Awaken,
If they wake up.
They awaken.
If they wake
and
up.
are hostile.
Yeah,
if they
yeah.
attack you, then you may attack them.
Okay.
You're allowed to dodge, and you're not allowed to wake them up in order to attack them. You have to not attack them first.
Boots,
It's like
can
dealing
we
with a
watch the
genie.
Beatles,
It's like dealing with a
please?
genie. Okay,
I
in the
kind of-
following subsets of every like division of
I kind of put a hand on Muriel's shoulder and lean in and go, Could you keep an eye on her? Like, could you keep an eye on Regina for a few minutes? Is that okay? We're gonna go collect the amaranth, but I don't know if she's not gonna skewer the Beatles.
Dude, doesn't anyone have any alcohol? That would distract her.
Yeah, you do.
No, she took it from me.
No, you got it back. I can't fly with the whole
Just-
skin.
Regina,
just
I
maybe-
have something for you.
Look, booze. Ooh, follow the booze.
Nicely well done. You get to celebrate. Over here, far away from the
It's not
Beatles.
over the other side of.
Over the other set, we're gonna go over here, and we can celebrate your glorious
Still
victory.
pulling up amaranth. Game master. Still
so
pulling
you,
up
now you
amaranth.
got.
Oh,
The, I
yes.
assume at
Yep,
this point
yep,
you've got
yep,
some
yep.
good handfuls now, and
I am-
Yeah.
From
Pick
the
up my
root as
javelins.
well. I've learnt my lesson.
From the toad, you still hear that. Going
I'll
on.
pick up my javelins and I will loudly comment on every javelin I found. Look, I found my javelin!
And just the beetle
Mhm.
and the toad.
Mhm.
Okay, after I found my javelins, I glower a bit and then I ask, are beetles deaf?
Oh, they might be soon.
I don't know if beetles can hear things.
They can sense things rumbling.
They
in
can
the
sense
ground.
things, but do they hear?
Not in the way you or I do.
This feels like a prophetic question. If a beetle hears a fairy sprite screaming at the top of their lungs near their face, do they actually wake up?
Actually, it says most insects have one or more sensory organs that are sensitive to vibrations transmitting through the air. Not only do insects hear, they may actually be more sensitive than other animals to sound vibrations. For example, giant beetles may be awoken by really angry sprites picking up javelins and shouting about them in each particular case. I made that last part up. But everything else...
I can't help. I can't help, but I've just activated a smart device.
I was curious.
Right. Thanks, Talisman assistant.
I was curious. So anyway, so you are gathering this amaranth together. And if you're doing so, I do want to make one announcement to the group and to the stream, which is that I'm going to have to end a little early because there was a bit of a mix-up in terms of who was picking up my daughter from Taekwondo. So I'm going to have to end in a few minutes. I apologize. Not what I was planning. But we got through the fight, and we're going to get through something else here in a minute. So, so what do you mean, Wolf Soul? I was all completely scripted. So, okay, you have gotten what you hope is amaranth. It sure looks a lot like it. It's very coarse, and it almost is like a very kind of thick, almost tangled, again, looking almost like scrub brush, even though from a distance it looks like just regular waving grass with a purplish hue. And so, well, listen, Brutal, I mean, Google. I mean, who Googles in the time of Talisman? I don't know what you mean.
What is a Google?
Yeah, exactly.
Most
Okay.
likely an insect.
Yeah,
So,
probably.
so you have it.
Definitely
What do you
edible.
want to do once you've gathered this together and these beetles that are sleeping are
Muriel,
still
did the
there?
book mention anything in regards to preparing the amaranth?
No.
Okay.
No.
Thanks, Muriel.
Can we
Thanks,
just
Muriel.
show the frog?
Yeah,
We
I'm just
should
gonna, like,
leave the
hold-
Beatles to wake in
Really?
peace.
Yes.
Oh, I assumed we had. I assumed we'd gone now.
Have we
like we were
settled?
on our way back to the
Okay,
hut.
then we're off.
Okay.
Well, we didn't state it.
Correct. Now you've
Okay,
stated it, so now you're leaving them behind.
we're heading back to the shack. We're going back to Shantytown Shack, and we are definitely 100% taking Regina with us.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, Regina still waits her lonely vigil over the
Yeah,
beetles.
just there over the beetle. Wake up,
Make a move.
wake. Oh, it moved.
Make a move, Roach. All right. So.
Was it the wind? No, it moved.
when you get close to the hut and you're safely, as far as you know, away from the beetles, and you continue, the toad is.
I show the toad some of the amaranth. I pet it first, though. I'm like, it should be okay. I'm not sure what this may do. And I show it some of the amaranth.
And the toad kind of looks over at it and then begins to munch on the amaranth. As it eats more of the amaranth, it does this, and then it's been on your shoulder, and it takes a big hop and hops onto the ground. And as soon as it hits the ground, you see a light shimmering around it, and it begins to move and morph and change and grow. And in only moments, probably 10, 15 seconds at most, the toad has transformed into a middle-aged woman with long, wild, dark hair that is shot with silver. And the woman sort of blinks and then goes, No, I won't be doing that anymore. Well, thank you. I wasn't sure for a while whether or not we were all going to be safe, but after watching the way you handled the beetles, it seemed clear you would manage it. I have you to thank for my rescue. I am the Enchantress. I foresee that you have come to find me. Have you?
Oh, but if you've foreseen that, why did you turn into a frog before we arrived?
That part I did not foresee. Always in motion is the future. Very hard to predict. And she kind of looks at you and then says, "You can't always tell. Can you?" And she looks at you, Muriel, "whether the future will proceed as you thought it might." Like staring at you in a very uncomfortable, like, stare through the head sort of way, like.
If she stabs Muriel, I'll attack her.
I think that's fair.
Hi, it's nice to meet you.
It's good to meet you. Muriel, I believe. And you must be Ashflower, she says, turning to you, Ashflower.
I bow slightly.
And you, the keeper of the graveyard, Reginald Shun, who I've seen before. And, of course, Regina Augusta III, a sprite of uncommon bravery and uncommon temper, sometimes.
I just lean in and go, there's two others of you?
They are dead.
And she
I'm
says,
neither surprised nor shocked.
And she says, "We have a great deal to chat about, all of us, and I have a reward to give you as well. If you'll come into my hut, we'll be able to speak more. Because you see," and she turns and then starts to walk back and then stops, and she says, "Part of the reason I was trying to work on my spell is we may need it. We are all in very real danger, and it appears that you will be the best ones suited to save all of us, if you don't die first. So, follow me, everyone." She turns, and with that, I'm going to have to regretfully bring the session to a close, because I got to go pick up my child. But this was good. You slept in the castle ruins, traversed over the plains, found the hut, searched the hut, found the toad, found the book next to the toad. Muriel was able to translate the book, thereby knowing that you needed to get grass to feed to the toad, found the grass, attacked a beetle, slept the beetles, really powerful spell sleep, by the way, and then got the amaranth and brought it back and transformed the toad back into Enchantress. So I'd say that's a pretty productive day. I will make one note to them, which is to let you know, a usual armor total that I ran into so far, some of the creatures that you fought, are things like 4 or 5, like the goblins I think had 4, something like that. The natural armor on a beetle is 12. So that's why your stuff kept bouncing off. Because remember, even if you damage it, it has to go through that armor. So the only way to deal with it was either to sleep them. You don't want to sleep with them. That's a whole different thing. That would change. That would be some other kind of.
That's a different campaign, friend.
That's
a different campaign.
That's GOG After Dark. And if you want to know more, no. So So you would have to sleep them, or you would have to do what Regina was doing, which is just basically keep breaking the hell out of their armor until you got to the point where you could damage them. But they are tough little buggers, if you'll pardon the pun. So, but you managed to deal with them. And sleeping with Beetle is super effective. It would be super effective, but God knows on who or what. Anyway, I'm going to start as per usual with the person at the bottom of the column. I'm sorry as well to the players that I had to leave for about 5 minutes in the middle of that too. Sorry that I was discombobulated dealing with pickups.
Okay. Life finds a way.
Life finds a way. Chai, it was Muriel got a chance to actually show a little bit of what Muriel can do as a lore keeper, which is good because otherwise, once we figured out my mistake in not making the skill something Ashflower can't do, you would have been like, what the hell do we do? I don't know. So Muriel was able to figure that out. And of course, you had that croaking, the croaking vision, which sort of came to pass, obviously, as well. So how did you feel about, and the sleep spell was hugely important, obviously, in that combat. How did you feel about today? Where will the lovely folks find you next?
I thought today was awesome. I had a lot of fun, and I'm glad I was able to actually play while the baby blows raspberries on my cheeks.
Adorable.
She's having a lot of fun. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm glad that I was able to do something, because I felt like in the goblin fight I didn't really know what to do. And so this was really nice, where I'm like, oh, they're so tough, we'll just put them to sleep, then we can walk away.
Huge. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
huge.
really
I mean,
nice.
at their expense, they use up, you could only had 2 of them, as you said, so you were able to use, but worth it, for
yeah,
sure.
it was worth it, and it was good. So anyway, I will be hopefully streaming on my channel tomorrow, and we've just been playing kind of casual games a little bit because my schedule's all over the place. So I think right now we're playing Dwarf Romantic, which is super cute. So enjoy that if you want to come over and say hi.
Always good stuff. Always a pleasure, Chai. And of course, we will see Chai next month here for a couple of these campaigns as well. So thank you, Chai, always so much. Always a pleasure as well to have Mike with us as per usual. Mike, Ashflower got to do a big, I love the idea that Ashflower was investigating the hut and basically was like, I forget that everyone else is out there. So after a while, Regina's just like, he's been in there too long. He's been in there like at least an hour. He's been in there like 3 minutes or whatever. But still, because you were thinking about, like just doing what Ashflower usually does. Of course, you got a chance to first encounter the toad. You never really got a chance to stealth too much because by the time it was all sort of over, but the shouting because of sleep, which became, which was highly effective, obviously. So how'd you feel about today's session? Where will the lovely people see you next?
I will keep this short and sweet so that Arthur can get off as soon as possible. But I absolutely adored this session. I feel I'm really kind of stretching out how Ashflower feels as a character. And if you want to check out more of my content, you can find me at Peripheral Mike on all social media channels. I tell you what, this coming Thursday, 4:30 p.m. BST time, you want some chilled out gaming sessions, come find me on either Twitch or YouTube. I'll hook you up.
Good stuff. And I would highly recommend anything Mike ever does, so you should totally do that. Always a pleasure, Mike. Thank you very much. Also, always a pleasure to have Darksaber with us again, playing Reginald Shun. And it's funny because your guide, obviously, your guidance was hugely important in getting them to this point, Reginald. And you also had, I think, some important things to say about balance and nature and who you kill. I love the little moment of you getting to listen to that howling, the little chorus going on with Boots and you. Also the reaction to the Boots shoes joke where you're like, yes, like you're just like, yeah, that's the joke. So that was funny. The lightning bolt thing was funny because it might have been effective. It happened to miss, but then it was like, it didn't matter because the sleep stuff was going on. So you were all balancing each other's out combat wise. How did you feel about today's session? Where would the lovely folks find you next?
It was great. I think I definitely have a handle on Reginald and how I want to play him. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It was perfect. The sleep spells coming up because I was like, oh, hang on. 5 minutes. That's long enough for us to get plants and get out of here.
Yep.
I'm not going to allow these creatures to die. We attacked them.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was a great moment. And I had the opposite problem from Muriel because it's like, I had the lightning bolt, but it doesn't bypass armor. So I'd have been in the same problem anyway of like, oh, they've got armor, no damage. So when those sleep spells came up, it was like, oh, this might actually work. So that was nice to see.
Yep.
But in terms of when I'm streaming next, I'll be back here tomorrow. I'm going to be looking at Medieval Dynasty because they've just had a big roadmap update for their build. So I'm going to be checking out some of the new stuff there. And if you want the absolute opposite of chilled out streams on Thursday, I'm going to be playing Nier Replicant. And we are getting very close to the absolute horrific feels that I've been teasing for the last 3 streams.
That's
It's been setting it
when
up
is
for
that?
15 hours. That's going to be 6 p.m. UK time on my channel.
Cool.
Good
And
stuff.
we're running out of all the side stuff, so we're getting to where they've lured you in, and this is where they pull the rug from out of you. Now we're getting to.
So I tell you what normally happens at the end of one of my lo-fi gaming streams is I encourage people to go over to Darksaber's stream. So I normally stream from 4:30 till 6:30. Around the half an hour before we leave mark, that's when I normally start like wrapping up some side quests. I definitely recommend going over to Darksaber's stream.
Thanks,
That's what
man.
I do anyway.
Good stuff. That's what I do. Good stuff. Always a pleasure, Saber. Thanks again for Dashboard and Moobot, etc. And last but certainly not least, Pyra and Regina also had a very active, not only personality reflection day about like, why would you do this? Like, are these beetles? And then like, I love the idea that you were only satisfied when you could glower fiercely at the beetles, like just kind of like holding them, just be like, be aware that I'm here and I see you and could destroy you. But also the fact that armor break, like I said, was probably what you were going to need to do. Like, it was almost going to be like, I could have seen a scenario if you didn't have sleep where you might have had to like essentially mind light fate so you could do mighty blows so you could break armor, because or figure something else out, like maybe stealthing through it or doing some attack that ignores armor. But so your armor breaking was important to what was going on, even if it turns out that Muriel's sleep ended up superseding all of that regardless. But Regina proved her fierceness as a fighter as per usual. How did you feel about today's session? Where would lovely folks find you next?
I love all the sessions, and I say that every time. Yeah, it was a wonderful session, and I think one of the things that I liked most was like Ash Flower pointing out that I should be stealthy because I'm small, and that the actual reason that Regina does have the stealth skill is because she's a sprite and she is small. and that was just wonderful, and she just didn't want to admit it. And so yeah, next will actually be one of our upcoming sessions, but we do have 2 special streams this week that I would like to just plug here because they are developer streams. We're gonna have a stream on Thursday, because on Thursday, Legend of Keepers, which is kind of a mix between Dungeon Keeper and Darkest Dungeon, is coming out out of in-depth or early access or games in development, or whatever you want to call it, on Thursday. And we are actually gonna have one of the devs and the community manager streaming here on the channel, presenting the game, and they're absolutely lovely people, and they have the most wonderful French accents, so you should be here. And on Saturday, we're gonna have the developers, one of the 2 developers of Horus here, with one of our newest members, Virtute, doing a stream with them on Saturday. So if you want to know a little bit more what's going on behind the scenes, talk to the devs, know more about the games, and just have questions, seek answers, these are 2 streams that I would like to see you watch. Would like to see you watch. Yes, that's a good sentence. That's how I close tonight. I would like to see you watch.
You would like to see you
Thank
watch.
you.
That's right. It's better than my sleeping with beetles, so I think that's fine. Anyway, it was always a pleasure to have this wonderful crew and good friends with me. So, chat, can we get some love for the amazing players, Pyron J, Darksaber2K, Peripheral Mike, and Tasty Chai? Thank you so much, players. You will see these folks a few times next month for this and for ArvCon. Bye, players, for now. All right, and that is going to do it for... Okay, that is going to do it for now. I got to rise up on out of here because I got to go pick up my child from Taekwondo, because we had a little bit of a mix-up in this. So I'm going to head on out. But I do want to thank everyone for staying here and watching this. I want to thank, as always, Pegasus Spiele for sponsoring us and for giving you this awesome game. I highly recommend this. You can get this now in print. You can obviously get it digitally through DriveThruRPG. This is a really good product. They put a lot of thought into this. This is well designed, and I'm excited to be able to play more as we get more adventures and develop further into this, and to see more of Regina and Reginald and Muriel and Ashflower and see those adventures as they progress. But that's going to be it for me. You will see Wolfie tomorrow. I think that's going to do it for us overall on GOG. So I'm going to rise up on out of here. Don't forget to follow the channel. Don't forget to subscribe to us here on GOG.com. And don't forget to subscribe to us on all our individual channels as well. Otherwise, thank you all so much for being a part of this. And I will see all of you lovely folks soon. Until next time, I'll be back, by the way, next Tuesday, Pen and Pixels, with some Neverwinter Nights 2 complete. Or you'll find me on my own channel. We have Community D&D coming tomorrow night on my channel, Dragon of Icespire Peak. You should definitely check that out with Triffany Mats, with Rockod, with Echo Alpha X5, with Hoodie, and with Shadowed Mage as your DM. That should be happening tomorrow, so check us out for that. And otherwise, I will see you lovely people very soon. Until next time, everyone, be good to each other. Bye for now.